Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's sound stream, the first sound stream of April 2023. In the voice chat, we have our usual awesome graphic designer of the channel, DarkClaw643, aka The Ryan.
Everybody ready for superhero trailer week? Because
I'm hyped for the Barbie trailer. I don't know about these superhero trailers.
I am really curious what the movie's gonna be fully, because the teaser trailer was more like the teaser trailer is kind of I want to say a meta.
2001: A Space Odyssey, Perry, for the teaser trailer for Barbie really got me way more interested in the movie than I think I ever was before.
I think for me, it's always gonna be how dedicated Ryan Gosling is for this film.
Yep. But on that point, that's all we got in the chat at the moment, because Fighter Cows is getting a new table, which is great because he needed a new table. His was like super duper broken. So he might join us later. I don't know if he'll make it in time, but yeah. So the Jerry is not here, but he's here in our hearts.
But for people who are here, we have Mateki T, Common Jojo, Spin Dash, Smith the Crow, Ryan, and True Hellfire Gaming.
Welcome to the stream. The fun part about today's stream is I have mapped out all my videos for the rest of April, and I'm going to tell you all guys about that. So that'll be fun.
So Mateki T, because I know you're talking about Digimon Gap since Ghost Games Over. There is the 02 movie that it's
we'll talk about that when we talk about Seekers later. We can do a whole little Digimon Gap discussion.
Welcome to the chat, Russian Wanderer and Zeltrex.
Hey, Zeltrex. Yeah, sometimes the chat doesn't catch up to when we jump in to actually do this. Because I noticed people are chatting before the stream, which is great. I'm so happy to see that. I should probably tweet out that we're live on the dying platform known as Twitter.
When's Zero2's to come out? Near the end of the year, I'm pretty sure.
October,
right?
Yeah. October 27th. All right.
Welcome, Metal. Welcome, Metal.
Metal. Why is my okay? In case we have any stream hiccups, YouTube decided they're going to take 4 hours to upload a 6 GB file, which is weird. So if we have hiccups, that's why.
Welcome to the chat, Toku Texas Cosplay.
Yeah. Welcome to. I need to post.
We will swear everybody. We will talk about the Zet news, but we will be talking
about the Ultraman Zet dub news. I got a lot of thoughts on it, surprisingly, which is not like a whole. It's not like it's that deep of a thing, but yet I got a lot of thoughts.
There is a lot. There is a big thing.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, on that, let's talk about what's going on the YouTube channel first. Because
last time on Soundout Productions.
Last time on Soundout Productions, I ranked. Speaking of Digimon, I did my re-ranking. I didn't go through every show and explain why I ranked it where I ranked it. I kind of adjusted it from the previous one. Talked about Ghost Game, and then Friday we had a Blu-ray haul, which was intense because look at all those discs. It's a lot of discs. But we do have upcoming videos coming up like soon. Let me pull up the thumbnail real quick, because might as well. I got it already. I got the thumbnail done. Technically we probably could have done something fancier, but let me just drop this here. Retro Indiana Jones Wave 1. I got the video done already. It's gonna go up Wednesday.
I still love the Twitter post you did for the Belloc. Was it the Belloc?
It was Tote. Yeah.
Your delivery is like 10 stops away.
Yeah, I got this terrifying image on Saturday. I'm just like completely destroying my stream template here. I'm just throwing images on here. But yeah, no. See where your package is on the map. It's 10 stops away. So anyways, there's that. So we got Retro Indie Wave 1 coming Wednesday. Wednesday's gonna be that. Friday, because I'm getting a Toku Collectibles package tomorrow. Friday should be the Dimension card set prop edition, which we're gonna use the deluxe D-Flasher to use. So we'll see how that goes.
Did you get the Dark Ring yet? Because I know that's
coming in the same package tomorrow. I'll talk about that in a moment. So Friday we'll be doing hopefully. My neighborhood's supposed to not have power on Wednesday, so we're going to see how well this works. But we should have the Dimension card set on Friday. And then next Wednesday should be the Adventure Series Indiana Jones Wave 1, because Indy should be here tomorrow. Sala, Belloc, and Tote should be here Wednesday. So, and I already got Marion. So we're got the 6-inch Indy figures next Wednesday. Then next Friday will be the Super Complete Selection Animation D-Arcs. I've already filmed most of that. I'm not done filming it. I spent 2 days filming. The problem is I filmed for like an hour straight doing the voice clips in just Takado's D-Arc, and so I got to do that for the other two still. But that'll come next Friday.
How much voice lines do they have compared to the Orb Ring? Do you have to make that a separate video?
There's 126. There's 126 voice lines for Takado, 126 for Guilmon, 127 for Kulumon. There's 20 conversations between Guilmon and Takado. There are 30 voice clips for Growlmon, 5 voice clips for War Growlmon, and 25 voice clips for Dukemon. And that's just one of them. Oh, plus all the card slashes are different voices, and then all the Digimon Explained sections are different for each Digivice. So there's a lot of stuff in the Digivices that I'm going to separate to their own voice lines video, like I do with all the other ones. Muteki T, I'm not going to include any subtitles because I think that would probably be the end of me.
That'll take longer, and like there's who knows if one of the things where it's like you need to find the translations.
I'd have to find the translations. I know the instruction booklet is online, and I probably could copy and Google Translate the subtitles, but that would take me like hours upon hours upon hours, and I don't think that many people are going to watch the voice lines videos. They get decent enough views, surprisingly.
But it's there for archival reasons.
Yeah, it's pretty much there for archival reasons. So I'm working on that. The following week is the week that Power Rangers Once and Always will come out, and I got a couple videos planned for that, which are secret, surprise. You'll be seeing 2 Power Rangers videos that week. And then the week after, this may change because I haven't gotten the stuff yet, but essentially, the Dark Rings cards in the Orb Ring, and the Orb Rings cards in the Dark Ring. Then the second Fusion card special set. And then
the machine's back. The machine's back. The machine was gone for a sec.
I know. So I paused for a moment. Yeah, I don't know why I'm dropping frames so bad, but this is just how we're gonna have to deal with it because I can't stop my YouTube upload. I wouldn't have started it if I knew it was gonna take 4 hours. Anyways, so first video be Dark Ring. Second video, the Fusion card holder and the Dark Rings cards in the Orb Ring cards in the Dark Ring. Then the third one will be Fusion card set 2, where I'll use the Kaiju cards from that in the Dark Ring and the Ultra cards in the Orb Ring. Then do another video, which is going to be all the Fusion card set 2 cards in the opposite rings, basically. It's because it's just a lot of stuff to cover, so I think I'm just gonna do it like that. Just do 4 videos in a row, and then in May we'll go back to normal 2 video a week thing.
Orb week.
It's essentially gonna be Orb week.
Or no, it's the Dark Ring Juggler week.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Spin Dash. Yeah, I wish somebody in the Toku community could do translations of the instruction manuals because we do get official like English ones for some of them, but like not a lot of them. And Brian, I will do a size comparison with Indy and all the other 6-inch Hasbro lines, because kind of like how I did it for the Silverhawks video, where it's just like, here, one figure from each line, look at the size. Like, doing 3 figures at a time, not like a huge lineup, but like, everybody kind of next to each other.
Second last match, what about the Fusion set 1 cards in Dark?
That'll be in the first card swap video. So the second video after the Dark Ring. Because it'll essentially just be all of these, plus whatever comes with the Dark Ring in the Orb Ring, and then all of the... Yeah, so it's just going to be a huge, huge process, and that's also why I scheduled some of this stuff really far out, so I can just start working.
Filming. It's going to take a long time.
Yeah. Any new fusions I would do in the card swap video to kind of attract any viewership. So if X and Victory do the Kaiju fusions, which I think they do, those will be part of that first card swap video, unless the Dark Ring doesn't have that many features and I can squeeze it into that one.
But it's Ultra Replica, so there's gonna be a lot of features.
Could be a lot of stuff. Maybe a lot of it will be, maybe a lot of it will be repetitive in the Dark Ring, and then I can just start So it may get rearranged, but
I think there is probably lesser kaiju fusions. They are ultra fusions.
Yeah, there
maybe.
I think
Yeah,
so.
okay.
I've got a list of every possibility. So we'll see how that goes, because I might start combining some of the ideas. It may get cut down to 3 videos. It may get cut down to 2. I just want to make sure the videos aren't like super duper long.
Well, I'm curious. You know what I'm curious about with Dark Ring? Will there be a sound for Baleo's giant fusion kaiju form for the end of the first Mega Monster Battle movie?
Maybe, but I don't know how to access it.
Does that because I know there was a big abomination of all the kaiju, but
yeah, but I don't think we have all the kaiju that were used in that movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. Plus, I also don't think that does that even form have a MAME? I wonder.
Don't think so.
In
terms of Ultraman Rega, I'm gonna try it again in the Dark Ring. It doesn't work in the Orb Ring. I think the reason why it doesn't work in the Orb Ring is because in the movie they fused all their final forms, and we don't have final form cards for everybody. So we've tried it. I don't think Rega.
That or the Orb Ring can't handle having that many cards.
Yeah, and maybe the Dark Ring has it. I don't know. I'm really curious to see what the Absolutians sound like in the Dark Ring. I haven't looked at any videos yet. I'm waiting till I get it. That way I can, put the review in my brain, then go and research further after I've figured out what I got.
What the Absolutians, they were probably like kind of generic sounds because they were made far in, it was made far in advance, but they didn't know much about what the Absolutians were when the original Orb Ring came out. So like with the Dark Ring,
I imagine the Dark Ring's got some more updated sounds like that. But we'll see.
Was there a Decker card?
There's a Decker card in Fusion card set too.
So I'm curious if there's gonna be. I mean, because the Dark Ring could possibly have a Decker sound, but I'm not sure about the original Orb Ring, unless they really plan far in advance.
Yep. Hey, Commodore 64. Yeah, I will do whatever with Victory. Like, if I can get all of his like weapon stuff working, a video at some point, and I'll try to make it very clear which video has what.
Would X, because I know technically the Cyber Kaiju are separate.
The thing is, I think the Cyber Kaiju might be in it, as you just use Gomorrah, or you just use, like, I think that's how it works. I will figure it out. I have all this stuff arriving tomorrow. It's all coming in one box.
Because, who knows if they want to, maybe they might be pedantic and go like, oh, specifically have to be Cyber Gomorrah with X and not Gomorrah and X to make the Gomorrah armor.
Commodore 64, we'll talk about the Blue Beetle trailer during the stream. It's one of the topics today, so I'm gonna just like break it down live. How about that?
He's Mr. Big #1 Jaime fan right here.
I'm a longtime Blue Beetle fan. Actually, that one I can blame on Linkara because he did this really cool retrospective like many years ago where he went over the entire history of Blue Beetle from Dan Garrett all the way through Jaime Reyes, and I was like, wow, I love this. There's always a source, always an introduction point.
For me, I mean, I think for a lot of people, it's either probably Brave and the Bold or Smallville. For a lot of like
Brave and the Bold was where I first knew about Blue Beetle, and then Blue Beetle. I learned about Blue Beetle through Linkara's videos, and then now I've read everything Jaime's been in, 'cause he's my favorite one. But yeah, I still like Ted Kord. I haven't read all of Ted Kord's stuff, but it's hard to like Dan Garrett. His personality and powers change every issue.
Issue. Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. He was a 1939 Golden Age hero. I have like a not an unofficial figure, but like a really weird third party Dan Garrett figure that just hangs out on my shelf because I don't have anything else.
Dan Garrett can sneeze and he can get a new power.
Okay.
Also, it's been nice mentioning
the Acceptor. Yeah, I was avoiding most of the Gridman news because it's spoilers.
Spoilers.
I don't want to like kill my stream by trying to go on Good Smile's site because it's like Tamashi's and it's image heavy. There is a 1-to-1 scale Gridman original series Acceptor that was announced. It was announced on April Fool's Day.
That was a joke.
But it wasn't because they did a bunch of announcements related to Gridman Universe a week after the movie came out. It just happened to fall on April 1st.
Was it Japan April Fool's or was it American Fool's?
I think it was American April Fool's. I think it was
Yes, it'll be April 2nd. Yeah, it'll be April 2nd.
I'm not covering any of that because it's all like most of what that was announced is all spoilers. So.
Because I know there's a Scepter announcement. I think they're making a new Gridman figure, like basically not like a non-combining Gridman figure. I think. was kind of hard to tell.
I just kind of started ignoring because I didn't want to dive too much deeper into the
Because
spoilers for the movie we're not seeing yet.
It's not even for Gridman Universe, but it's also Gridman's 30th anniversary.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah, they kind of doubled up. So I was like, how much of this is in the movie, and how much of this is just because of the anniversary?
Anniversary.
I will say though that I did see a spoiler about one character that's in the movie, which I had theorized would be in the movie, and I was happy.
That's kind of frustrating because it's not even like they're trying to hide it. There's a lot of official promo art.
Oh, they do this all the time. Like Garo under the Moonbow completely hid the fact that it was all three Garos teaming up until after the movie came out.
Never forget that they fully spoiled Gogeta being Broly.
That's true. Sometimes they just don't even care. I have the Gridman Super Mini Plot kits. I'm pretty happy with them. I got the Super Mini Plot Dynazen on order. I'll probably get the new stuff from the movie.
Welcome to the chat, Jamie's World.
Blue Beetle is definitely Kamen Rider inspired. Original comics wise, a little different. We should talk about Blue Beetle when we talk about Blue Beetle. Speaking of Kamen Rider, if anyone was looking for the Cyclone from Shin Kamen Rider, hey Project, if someone was looking for the Shin Kamen Rider Cyclone, his motorcycle, it's up on P Bandai US. It was.
Oh wow, really?
It was a week and a half late for some reason.
First, welcome, Fire Fury 190.
Welcome.
It's one reason conferencing. So I scanned a lightning collector figure on my Zebra device. I think that's an app some people use.
Yeah.
Where it said it's $27, but I scanned under a price scanner. It says $20. Yeah, that's a thing that a lot of stores are doing.
That's happening at a lot of Targets. Some of them are just like inexplicably cheaper when you scan them than when they are on the shelf and whatnot.
Though sometimes you need to tell them that, like, hey, when you put put in the register kind of thing.
Yep. The Gridman Mini Plot, you have to look on the secondary market for the ones that are out. The Dyna Zenon's running about 130, 140, and the Grid Knight and Goldburn set is running about 90 to 100 on sites, and that's a pre-order. Everything else has been out for a few years, so you're just gonna.
The Dyna Zenon and Grid Knight are P Bandai only.
Yeah, they're P Bandai, and they're not getting US releases. So, good luck. This is basically I can just tell you is good luck. Anyways, so Cyclone's up. If you're looking for a Super Complete Selection Animation D-Arc Ultimate, go to your local middleman. We're 3 weeks out since it was announced, and it's still not up on P Bandai US.
I'm surprised you're getting the second because there's that whole thing of the whole bike manufacturer with bikes on.
This was like 2 weeks late, almost. Like no, it was like a week and a half late. Like it wasn't quite 2 weeks, but it's here. It exists. I got my Gridman Mini Plot from Mandarake. That's a place. You can try Bai, any of the stores on Bai. Probably you're gonna have to look around. It's a bit of an adventure.
The hunt.
The hunt. All right, let's talk Power Rangers. So last week, I almost forgot to mention this until the end of the stream, but me and Zeltrax interviewed Melissa Flores, who used to be a producer on Power Rangers and now is a writer on the Power Rangers comic as well as the Massive Verse over at Image. And go check out this interview because it's really insightful about like her time on Power Rangers, what she did at Saban, and pretty much a lot of other things in addition to her current work on the comics. So worth checking out. We got to talk to her for about an hour. It was really good. And in relation to that, our first news topic is Boom Studios is actually celebrating Power Rangers' 30th anniversary, unlike Hasbro. The thing is, I don't mean to slam Hasbro, but I feel like they've done absolutely nothing to celebrate the anniversary besides make Once and Always.
Well, so in terms of stuff that they're doing anniversary logo, it's Once and Always, those Walmart basic figures, so the
remastered figures.
And
then everything Boom is doing in this Kickstarter that's already raised $500,000.
So it's literally just 2 lines, the special, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I think a pin. I think there is some kind of pin, but that's probably for another company.
There's a enamel pin for this Kickstarter. Anyways, this Kickstarter launched, I think, about a week ago. And
a week ago.
Like, it was last week. It was sometime last week, and it's already made over $500,000 on a $25,000 goal. This is just like, you want to talk about celebrating an anniversary. Boom's like, all right, cool, 30th anniversary. You can get deluxe hardcovers of the Archive edition, the Archive comics, which were the collection of Spin Dash. You're totally right. Boom has carried this brand since 2016. Like, they have been doing more work than anybody else involved with Power Rangers, like, hands down. They are the ones that have kept it alive, honestly. Anyways, so Power Rangers Archive, which was the reprints of comics prior to Boom, like all the way from
the Marvel
Mighty
comic,
Morphin.
there was the Marvel comic, the Image comics, paper cuts, and
Yep, all of that, everything. Like, every Power Ranger comic was collected in 2 paperbacks called Power Rangers Archive. There are now hardcovers. These are the exclusive slipcover artwork versions for the Kickstarter. They did say in the FAQ that there will be regular retail ones, which I assume won't come with the slipcover and may match the other hardcovers we have, which is what I'm going to wait for.
The Archive books came out during, I think, did they come out during Shattered Grid, like the 25th anniversary?
They came out right as Boom started.
Okay, so they're out, very out of print now, I imagine.
You can still get them, I think, but they're coming out in hardcovers now.
Hard to find. They're definitely hard to find.
There's also going to be Lost Chronicles Book 1, which I know there's some confusion on Twitter because someone was like, why doesn't it come with the actual Lost Chronicles trades? The Lost Chronicles trades were just ways to collect the annuals, which those annuals had already been collected in other hardcovers. So this Lost Chronicle hardcover is going to contain Aftershock, the 2017 movie sequel, Soul of the Dragon, Psychopath, Sins of the Future, all the graphic novel one-shots. And then it'll also contain the Artist Tribute, which was an art book.
Yeah, I really love the art book, so it's kind of nice to get re-listen to that again.
And it being labeled Book 1 makes me hope that they're going to do a Book 2 that has, like, maybe the Pink mini-series or the Unlimited one-shots that don't fit in the main continuity, that kind of thing.
Why does it have the annual stuff? But usually annual stuff is canon to the main books.
Right, they're in the hardcovers. The hardcovers outside of the Go-Go Power Rangers issues that are involved with Necessary Evil and Shattered Grid, there's no overlap in those hardcovers. Like, that's the only overlap, is the Go-Go issues. Because they just, with the Go-Go hardcovers, they were like, here, half the series, and even though we had a bunch of those issues from Necessary Evil and Shattered Grid. But anyway, so these 3 are the main, like, crux of the Kickstarter. They're like, here are 3 things here doing, artwork, fancy artwork, slipcovers. These are kind of match the previous Kickstarter that they did for, like, the main 6 hardcovers. They had a fancy style. So that's essentially what those are. I'm not going to get these. I'm just going to wait for the normal trade dress ones because those will fit with my other volumes. Also, these are $125 instead of the usual $75. So, money.
It'll be more consistent with your collection.
Yep. There also is this is kind of cool, though. They're offering the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 0, the first comic they ever produced, in a gatefold cover with all 6 helmet covers on it, like in one fold-out piece, which is pretty cool.
That'll be a very dick single issue.
Yep. And then there's also what we did not know about prior to this Kickstarter, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 30th Anniversary Special number 1 Power Coin Edition, which is taking that collage of every Ranger that was across several covers, putting it once again into a giant gatefold.
Wasn't that the same artwork that snuck in some Sentai Rangers also?
Yes, it is. Because Dan Mora is that kind of nerd. This is not the one that had, like, chameleon green. This is the later one that was much better.
This one had, like, ghostly green, didn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, that chameleon green cover, the one with the chameleon green for Kyrian, that cover was a mess, honestly, because there's a lot of blob Rangers in the background.
This is Dan Mora, so it's beautifully done. If I was going to buy anything from this, it would be this. You can also get, as an add-on, the Angel Grove High School Letterman jacket. In case that was ever something you wanted. It actually kind of looks like a nice outfit. There also is, let's see, what is these? Their Comic-Con preview 1-page comic thing is getting reprinted.
Well, yeah, it was like one side is the cover, and then the other side is like a page from the first issue,
right? And they're offering them again. That's an inconsequential story, honestly. I don't even count it.
Common Judge asks, what about the Power Rangers toy comics? Like those like Pac-Man mini comics some older toys came with?
Those might be in there. I don't know. They're also okay. You also might be. Yeah, I never got the archive paperbacks, even though I meant to. So they might be in there. I don't know.
Come on, JoJo. When will we ever get Radiant Black hardcovers? Do Image do hard books?
Image just hardcovers. It depends on. It depends on the because they're creator owned books. It depends on the creator. Like Savage Dragon just started getting hardcovers for the first time. But that's about it. Like,
is there always a decision with certain comics where some will be hardcovers and some won't?
Yeah, with Image, it's up to the creator and then also the publisher. It's a whole different thing with Image. Like they have to kind of like the creator has to approve it.
I know, like all the Milestones season ones are all hardcovers.
Yeah, that's also DC just tries to push hardcovers for things that they think will sell better.
Yeah, because I know the new Batman trade coming tomorrow for the first volume of Chip's run. So Chip's exactly I can never pronounce his last name. Run. That's gonna be hardcover only by the looks of it. So
because that's a weird thing with some of the Batman stuff. They're not going back and reprinting it in paperback.
Because I have James Tynion's run. They're both paperback, so it's always interesting what gets hardcover, one gets.
But when it comes to Image, it depends on the creator because like Invincible has like hardcovers, compendiums, and trade volumes, and then Spawn only has like compendiums and trade volumes. They don't do any hardcovers. So I would love to see Radiant Black get hardcovers, but I think they gotta last her a little bit longer, I think, before.
Also, welcome to the chat. Infinite 1985. Hey, Sound, did you hear about Jack's making Cream Infinite for the 4-inch line?
Yes, it's exciting. I actually am surprised they're making Infinite, honestly. If I'm being totally honest. It's awesome. I just didn't see it coming. Anyways, to finish up the Kickstarter thing, there's a giant art print you can get. That's pretty cool.
I love that art print so much, especially the Zord.
And for those wondering prices, $50 gets you the 2 gatefold covers. $100 will get you one of the hardcovers. $275 will get you all 3. You can get a box. There's one that comes with a collectible box. That's $375.
Wait, first, welcome Smoy Dreams to the chat. The real Shin Kamen Rider is Skyrider. Everyone knows
Skyrider is the Shin Kamen Rider. Yes. Anyways, for $500, you can get the complete set, the box, and the jacket. For $600, you get the set of 3, the box, the jacket, the gatefolds, and the Megazord things. So it's just a lot of stuff. One of the main reasons why this Kickstarter did so well too should not be underestimated. There are tiers where you could get signed copies by Ranger actors, and those went really fast, and those were like $200. So that adds up to the thing. There's also stretch goals, which includes like free digital editions, the hardcovers getting upgraded, a new Power Ranger series announcement, which we'll talk about in a moment. There's embroidered patches for everyone that spends $200, or art print able to be added. So all kinds of cool stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's boom. Like, this is not like a super risky Kickstarter campaign. This is happening.
I think what helps with this doing well is I think a lot of these stuff are usually out of print, and a lot of people missed these already.
Yeah, I believe. I don't know where I saw it. They're like, here's our stretch goals. There is an add-on. I have not gone through with backing it, so I can't see the add-ons. There is an add-on where you can buy any of the deluxe hardcovers, like any of the ones that are out, which is probably the best way to get year 1 or year 2 at this point. Like, those are the 2 hardest to get. You have to back at least $50 to be able to add add-ons. Like, you have to do the $50 tier with the 2 gatefolds. But if you're trying to get those deluxe hardcovers, like the actual like retail ones, they're available as add-ons. So if you're looking for them, that's probably the best way to get them at this point. But yeah, it's hard to look at the add-ons because I don't think you can look at them without backing it, and I'm not backing it.
Oh, watch that! Don't worry. So some Ranger fans will post on Twitter as soon as they unlock.
Because I saw somebody post on Twitter the add-ons for showing the deluxe hardcovers. So these are scheduled to ship in January, and they said that the retail versions of the 3 hardcovers will come out after January, which tracks. Sometimes shipments are weird. Like, I know Necessary Evil Part 1 and 2 came out before the Kickstarter shipped. That was because of COVID delays. So, you know, it's stuff. But yeah, congrats, Boom. You know how to celebrate the anniversary and also make a crap ton of money off of it. Let's see if that number's gone up at all.
For Juicy, reading chat, for Jason, can we please get an omnibus of the Spawn spin-out comics like Violator, Evil Spawn, Sam and Twitch, etc., etc.?
I'm hoping that happens because I have the compendiums, which I think is great. And I would love a compendium of like the spin-off material. They're doing that finally for Invincible. Invincible had 3 compendiums. That was the entire like main book. But they're finally doing an Invincible Universe compendium. Yeah. So hopefully they do that with Spawn as well. I know Spawn was pumping them out fast, and they already got to issue 200, and I think they slowed down because they're like, wow, we're getting really close to what's current.
I mean, I think especially honestly impressed with the trades because the trades like Todd knows some black magic. Those trades are usually cheap, like 10. I think like
Image Comics does this thing where every first volume in a series is $10.
Which honestly, that's a really good way. That's a great entry price.
Yeah, great entry price. Hey Chris, welcome to the chat. The Kickstarter is a little confusing. There's just a lot of tiers and a lot of options.
I think what it is if you're not familiar with the Boom comic stuff, you will probably definitely get lost if you don't know how the ins and outs of the Boom comics. Because when I think people see like the archive or Lost Chronicles stuff, they don't really know what that means unless
also,
you actually,
they don't really actually list what is in each of these. They're just kind of give you vague descriptions. You kind of have to you have to go to like, I think it's the FAQ section, and you have to like, there's like a thing down here that tells you what's in each. Yeah, here you go. What content is collected in the 30th anniversary? This is where they put. Oh, here. There we go. All right. The Saban Powerhouse comics that I have physical copies of, these are in the archive editions apparently. So that's great because these things are rare. But yeah, anyways, that's the whole list. It's in the FAQ because somebody asked and they hadn't posted a list, so it's there now. All right, cool. Let's go to the chat and then we'll probably move on to the next part of this.
Infinite. There are rumors Blaze in the wave at the Cream Infinite wave with Zavik. I'm not sure about Zavik, but I think Blaze is definitely coming to. I think it's pretty like good chance Blaze is in the wave after Infinite and Cream because I think they're already confirmed that Blaze is coming. But we just don't know who's gonna be the other new figure in that wave. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything about Zavik being. I won't be surprised if Zavik's coming to complete the forces. The forces. I mean, with Infinite, we just need Zavik to complete the Eggman generals from forces. But we just need to wait and see.
It doesn't seem like the Power Rangers Turbo versus Beetleborgs comic is in here, but that's probably a licensing thing.
Yeah, that's probably a licensing thing.
Yeah. Those archive editions are pretty deep.
Chris, I wish I could reprint all those foreign exclusive comics in English. Were a lot of those in magazines?
A lot of those are in magazines. I'm sure the magazine publishers probably have some say in that, but that would be cool. Like an archive volume 3 that has like all the foreign comics in it. That'd be sweet.
Because I remember some of those magazine comics actually used the toy exclusive like stuff in them.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Which I kind of love.
Muteki T, I don't know if it's to be better to be super cool or super rare. Maybe it's cool to be both. Maybe it is better to be both.
Well, speaking of Spawn, it's kind of funny because I did found the Violator the Spawn Universe figure recently. I'm guessing due to they can't really put the Violator name on a toy in like general retail anymore, so they just call him the Clown. For safety reasons.
Well, there's two different figures. There's Clown and there's Violator.
Oh, really? Because I didn't know that.
There's a big monstrous Violator figure.
Okay.
Psychos, yeah. Look how well physical media sells. That's $500,000 on really expensive stuff, like expensive stuff.
Because
more importantly, not just that's a lot of money. 1,330 people have backed this.
I mean, especially because I know
it just went up again.
I know this is totally a different form medium, but like I think people would be really surprised how many people really like having physical comics and actually having this reading digital. Yeah, you could definitely just read a lot of your stuff on these. Let's say Disney Universe, DC Infinite. But I think it's more satisfying having the physical book in hand.
I
Yeah,
love
it
having
costs.
physical books. I've been reading all of Guardians of the Galaxy lately, and I've had to read a lot of it on Marvel Unlimited. My eyes get tired of that.
You know, that's the same with me because there's a lot. If I have to read digital for stuff I need to catch up on, definitely. But I'll go out of my way to buy certain books, or like what I usually do now is I'll usually read the first issue on DC Infinite, and if I really like that first issue, I'll pick up the trade.
Yeah, like I need to read. They have 9 issues of X-Men 2099 on Marvel Unlimited, and I need to read that so I can decide if I want the omnibus. Like, do I like this? Yes. Okay, let me just buy the omnibus. God, Comixology used to be amazing. Comixology in New England used to be the best. But
I get from like the biggest intimidation right now is both the Pierre J. Tomasi Superman omnibus and the rise and fall of the Batman James Tinian.
I keep flip flopping on that Batman omnibus because I have it all in single issue.
Like those are intimidating because they're on sale for like $70 on Amazon, so that's affordable. But still, it's $70.
Yep.
It's like
plus it's a big ass book.
Yeah, it's like I want to get those, but like
for anyone that hasn't read a 1,500-page omnibus, it's an adventure.
I love there's like guides on how to properly open omnibuses so you don't like ruin them.
Thank you, Infinite, for your compliment. I thank you. I try to do my best with the Sonic videos. They've sort of, since you are also a Sonic reviewer, have you noticed that like the beginning of like the line, like people are more interested, and then just as it's gone along, people just aren't as interested in videos. Because
I always say with that, it's just more of like people got used to the line at points kind of thing. Not saying like the line's not popular. The way it still is. I mean, there's a reason why you can
I think it's just people just know what to expect with the figures.
It's more of like excitement kind of thing, but like it's more of like yes, they're doing them. Then like must get. Well, it's also must get, but as long as it's a Jax figure, you know.
There's a Naruto Akatsuki manga coming out. Why has that not been a thing before? Anyways.
I'm surprised it took them that long. Honestly.
Let's move on from Power Rangers to Power Rangers. Amy Jo Johnson is writing the new comic book series that was announced as part of the Kickstarter, which is a weird way to do it, considering that like it was a tier, and then they couldn't announce it because Amy Jo had to announce it as part of this, which wasn't going to come out till Friday. So I don't think they expected to reach their unlock goal. It was bizarre. This is separate from the Ranger Academy series.
It's. I imagine it's a. I don't think it's gonna be. Do you think it's gonna be kind of a follow up, another Kim focused Pink Ranger series, or do you think it's gonna be her own book? Because what do you think?
I think this is going to be more like Soul the Dragon, where like Soul the Dragon definitely takes place in the main continuity.
Honestly, I can see that because since we can't really since they didn't want to come back to the show. We don't really get any updates on Kim's
here's the thing that's weird about this, right? We heard about this 2 years ago. She like said she was writing a Power Rangers comic 2 years ago, and now it's like official that she's doing it. Yes, Melissa Flores is still the writer on the main book for the foreseeable future.
No, Amy Jo is writing a side book like
it's a separate book. They don't even have a title for it. She's been working on it for like 3 years or so. She said she went and watched episodes, which she never did before. Then she was complaining about how she wasn't making that much money on the show, which is totally true. Anyways, this is the interesting bit, is that she said on Twitter that like it wasn't the money that caused her not to work on Once and Always, but she said to put the decision to not come back for Once and Always. She told Variety, there were a bunch of different factors that came into play, one of them being I was working on other projects. I also have a 14-year-old. I stopped acting and switched my focus to writing and directing almost 10 years ago, and give you a list of excuses. For me, and then also she follows up with, it didn't occur to me to join the reunion because I was already focused on this comic book. Okay, that's just sweet talking. The thing is, what I think it was it probably was money. My guess is that the amount of money she was going to get paid for that special, and for having to fly from where she lives all the way to New Zealand to be away from her family, because it wasn't going to get paid enough to bring the family with her kind of thing. I think she just decided, I'm good. I got my directing gigs here. I'm working on all these other
It's also,
projects.
I
I don't
mean,
need to do it.
it's also like, what role would they have for her, kind of thing? Because
Yeah.
because seeing how, because I mean, your Son was always gonna come back, because she always
She always
back.
comes back. Like she's through and through. Catherine Sutherland is Power Rangers. She lives and breathes it. You know.
So you already have, there's already a Pink Ranger on the reunion special. So like, it's one of those
They
things
didn't
where
need Amy Jo Johnson, and she didn't want to go to New Zealand for a small part. She would probably want to have like a big part, you know?
And honestly, because I think it's probably better if, let's say, if Amy Jo writes what has Kim been up to, because the last time we have heard anything about Kim in the show was it the Turbo movie?
Turbo movie. Yeah, we never heard about her
That's a
since then.
big, honestly, that's a big, because I know people can say like, well, I know people go like, well, Billy also, but Billy's a lot more simpler, because you can easily say he just came back from Alcatraz or anything like that. It's more simpler versus with Kim. There's a lot more baggage because of the Dear John Lennon and the Zeo, and then the whole weirdness in the Turbo movie with her. So there's a lot, and especially with now Tommy and Kat being together, like officially with having JJ, there's a lot to really kind of follow up with Kim's story. So honestly, I think it's probably a good move not to have Kim in Once Always, especially since the main focus of that's gotta be probably Min and Trini, and such.
I think this is smart. I don't know if it's going to be a mini series or an ongoing. Probably a mini series. I'm curious to see what it'll be when we get to it, because that would be pretty cool. I'll be reading it when it comes out, because it's a Boom Power Ranger comic. I'm in. Good or bad, I'm always.
Well, I'm curious to read it more. I mean, read it more, whatever it's going to be, because it's interesting to hear.
I'm curious to see, because she's like, this is my version of Power Rangers. I'm curious to see what that'll be.
That'll be more interesting, because I mean, it's not like, because to be totally honest, I dislike, besides for the Dragon, I heavily dislike Psychopath and especially Future Sin. So like, and so seeing with Amy Jo is not like it's her gonna be doing her own take of Power Rangers. I think it's gonna be more interesting than both Psychopath and Future Ends, which I think are end of the day kind of pointless stories, to be honest. Doesn't help that I just don't like the writing in them.
The chat mentioned Tech Wars, and I don't know if I have the brain power to go through that today. I'm gonna go backwards to Infinite. Says, would you say that Jax Pacific has surpassed Jazzwares as Sonic? Yeah, I think Jax is doing way better than Jazzwares ever did. Like, no offense to them, we did a whole tribute to their line, but like,
it's one of the things where better quality. Better quality. I don't want to say better character selection, because Jack's character
better business plan.
Yeah,
better business plan for sure.
And
really the scale helps. I think Jazzwares was just too small.
Well, to be fair with Jazz, that came out during the time of the Tree.
Even at that time, they're too small. You know, they were too small for the designs they were doing and the articulation.
And the only really big advantage Jazzwares had was more toy aisle space, but that's because that was back at the era Toys R Us. Because I don't even say Jax is bad. It's releasing their product. It's more of stores ordering them and not having like the space as the big spaces Toys R Us used to have, because there's you get a ton of Mario movie stuff to see in the stores, and I think that's the problem. It's like, I think that's why Jet and Superstar are gonna be really more hard to find, and Charmy, is because a lot of the stores are ordering the Mario movie stuff, so that's gonna be kind of being.
And that's the thing I'm worried about, is because I haven't been able to find anything for Sonic lately. Like, I've been out looking, because I've been searching for indie toys, and I have not found anything Sonic.
Because I think the way how Target views, I think this is how Target views it, because you said you look at the system. I think they declare Sonic and Mario all one line, because it's the same company.
Yeah, everything's folded under Jax.
Yeah, so I think that's the problem. Is the reason why we probably don't get much. A lot of stores don't get more Jax Sonic stuff.
Yeah,
because they already see that the shelves are full with the Mario stuff, so they sit it on one line. So technically, we won't get more Sonics. They won't order more Sonic stuff into more the Mario start to sell. And with the big push of the Mario movie merch, that's got to hold back a lot of the Sonic stuff into the shelf space. I think it's really what's happening right now.
Also, my targets just are not even doing resets right now. Like, there's nothing.
That's the same thing, because my target's been Weird enough, besides the collector's section, because I was able to find I was able to get a Gundam aerial kit at Target, my Target.
Yeah.
But like I also got to pick up like the new band anime heroes Jujin Kaisen figures at Target. And they had the Bleach ones also, and those new Demon Slayer figures from McFarlane, which I was surprised to see them. I thought they weren't coming out for another month or so.
Oh yeah, no, they're already out. Like McFarlane, most of the time when McFarlane announces stuff, they've already finished production. Like they're pumping out. Let's see. Muteki T, how big is the Blue Eyes? Because that is my biggest concern, is the size of it.
For the figure art standard?
Yeah.
Jax does hypersonic. They got, if Jax ever does hypersonic, they're gonna make it white or rainbow. What I see them doing is
rainbow could be cool.
Well, what they have done similar ideas where the Star Power Mario is made out of this weird like plastic where it's like reflective rainbow.
Yeah, that material would work.
Although, I mean, I probably work better in the sun because probably the Mario ones, he looks like he's trapped in cellophane. It looks kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chris, imagine Hasbro decides to license the Power and Toy license, like they do other brands. Technically, they do.
They do. The Super 7.
Super 7, Flames Toys. I think Flames Toys are really.
Yeah, they license it out, but they only license out Mighty Morphin. Muteki T, do you have Twitter? You can DM it on Twitter. If not, I need to get that Discord set up. I have a Discord account. I just have not set up a Discord. We should do that.
That's a future plan.
That's a future plan. I gotta get all these reviews done. They're coming up. Yeah, Infinite. I've gone on restock days, and there's nothing. There's like nothing new. It's not even just like a Sonic problem. Like I'm just finding nothing right now.
It's
just empty.
The problem is, it's like it really depends because I don't think every company.
Yeah, Mutek, you can DM me on Instagram. That'll work.
I think when it comes to toy resets, I think the problem is it really depends on, because I don't think every toy company sends their toy stock the same time. Like Jax will have their own.
Yeah, but Target has specific days where they restock stuff. It depends on the region, though.
Yeah, I think that's a big case. But should we get to our next news?
Yeah, let's get. Let's see what else we got. I think that was about it. Yeah, in terms of like Hasbro's always going to keep the Master Toy license to Power Rangers because they own the property. I would love new Beast Wars mutants, and I'm going to customize them into Animorphs and piss everybody off. All right, Ultraman, Mabius, and apparently Neos are going to be available on Tokusatsu, Pluto TV, Twitch, Sling, all that other stuff they stream on. Go watch Mabius; it's great.
What's left to be streamed on Tokusatsu?
Everything else that came out last year.
Is Nexus on there yet or not yet?
We're still making on Nexus, Max, Kids. I forgot. I reviewed so many of these things so close together. I can't even remember. Zerf.
The Kids, Zerf, Nexus, Max.
Like we're going through. It's been about a year since the Mabius DVD came out, so I think they got that going on.
Is Cosmos on there yet or not yet?
Cosmos, that's the other one. But yeah, if you have Tokusatsu or Tubi or any of these other things, go watch.
I mean, they're free.
Mabius.
I mean, it's free.
They're free if they're available in your region. So
yeah.
Now, what will be available everywhere is the Ultraman Zet English dub, which is the official Super Rai announcement. This is crazy. It's crazy in a good way. I'm really happy about this, actually.
It came out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, they're like, "Hey, we dubbed Ultraman Zet. It's coming out April 8th."
And it's not even like the Ultra Galaxy.
Nope, this is a
English. It's Okratron 5000.
Okratron 5000. They did the dub for Shin Ultraman. That's Chris Sabat's company. This will be released in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and Ireland. Or no, that was Shin Ultraman's dub. Never mind. This is going global on the YouTube channel. So this is going to be on the official Ultraman YouTube channel, April 8th. I don't know if they're dropping the whole thing or if it's just one episode.
So if you look at the bottom, if you go to the bottom of the article, they say Ultraman's the schedule.
Episode 1, yeah. New episodes released on every Saturday and Sunday, so they're gonna do 2 a week, basically.
So I think for first week it's gonna be episode 1, but every week after it's gonna be 2, like one episode Saturday, one episode Sunday, which is impressive, honestly. I mean, the show's it makes sense. They want to kind of
Zeno Robinson is. We're just gonna move to the cast. Zeno Robinson is Haruki. Matt Shipman is Ultraman Zet. Mick Lauer is Hebikura, aka Juggler Struggler. Mallory Rodak as Yoko. Macy Ann Johnson as Yuka. And then Chris Sabat's narrating, as well as being the executive producer. And then the ADR director and mixer will be Raleigh Pickens, so, the usual people. And the casting director, line producer, and Kanagan voice, Brittany Lauda. And then production assistant, Ben this is the first time I ever said this out loud. Balmaceda. So, yeah, Zet's got a dub. It sounds good. There's a clip. There's a preview clip.
It's Spirit's original trailer, but Haruhi and Zet are dubbed.
And what's cool is that they are using Zet, not Z.
So. Yeah, I was actually really glad they're calling it because that's his name, Zet. They don't spell it Ultraman Z. It's Ultraman Zet. That is his name. So I'm glad they're translating it that way.
Oh my god, that Blue Eyes is massive.
Oh, how big is it?
Twice the width of Victory Saber.
Oh wow, damn.
Like one of his wings is longer than Victory Saber, it seems. That kit looks amazing. I don't know if I'm going to get it though, because it's huge.
But
anyways,
first off, like the dub, like the from what we hear, the dub sounds great. Like it's
they're keeping Ultraman Zet. They're keeping the proper Zet.
Xeno's like when he shouts Zet is damn good. Like
they also kept the voice of the Zet Riser. They're not dubbing.
Which I'm surprised, but or he speaks English. He don't is one of the things.
This was something in the Ultra Galaxy Fight New Generation Heroes. They dubbed over the system voices for all the they didn't do that.
It's one of the things where why dub it where he's already speaking full English.
Exactly. But this is not going to be the same like, either Texas produced dub or what lately they've been doing in Japan, like English dubs.
Because the Ultra Galaxy fights are recorded in Japan with English speaking actors, and before with the movies was it William Winkler's production?
William Winkler's dubs in Texas. This is going to be Okatron, very experienced group with everything else.
And it's really impressive to see because I've been familiar with Zeno Robinson since back in Benton Alien Force and
Zeno Robinson. I know him from like so many things, so I'm excited for him.
He's a great actor. It's funny that this is coming sooner than the Digimon Adventure 2020 dub.
I know this is how do you tell the difference between Toei and Tsuburaya? Not only is Toei dubbing Tsuburaya dubbing one of their most popular shows, but it's also like we get the announcement 6 days before it actually airs. Like this is coming in 5 days, guys.
So like because the big thing about the big thing is because even if you're not a big fan of live action dubs, which with that
many more people can watch the show now.
Yeah, because especially because besides more availability for people who just prefer dubs and reading subtitles, but also especially for kids.
Kids, people who have visual impairment. People with learning impairment when it comes to reading. There are people that they have trouble they had trouble in school with reading or literary classes. They have trouble reading subtitles sometimes. This is great for them.
I think
just in general, having it in English will bring in people that wouldn't ever touch it if it was only subbed.
Because I think a lot of people don't realize with English dubs, because I know people go English dubs, blah blah blah, but a lot of English dubs of
it's so funny because 20 years ago, if something didn't have a dub, it was completely ignored.
Yeah, but
it's really weird how the landscape changed like that.
Yeah, but what I think one of the reasons with dubs is sometimes it does actually help people get better with their English. I met a bunch of people who said that thanks to me playing games or watching anime or anything dubbed in the English language actually helps them improve speaking in that language. Yep. And I mean, again, it's impressive because not only the fact that Zet got English dub, but a high quality English dub from a well respected dubbing company, really showed that Tsuburaya is really putting the effort into making Ultraman a global franchise. And and that's the thing I saw people pointing out on Twitter. It's everything they're doing. It's totally all basic. Really,
it is. They're basically doing it's so weird that doing the bare minimum with a Tokusatsu release is actually a huge accomplishment. Because the only other The only other measure of success is Toei, who does nothing, who does absolutely nothing.
You could like it's so interesting. It's so funny because I'm not sure what thing. I'm not sure who's in charge of who's gonna be in charge of what gets dubbed, but Fudo PI did not get English dub. Like it could
I don't think it was
one.
popular enough for Crunchyroll to want to invest in it. To be honest,
like,
I think that show was a wet blanket ratings wise.
Because it still can get one and a whole media release, but still, like the fact
But
that they
the thing is, Crunchyroll's not interested in physical media right now.
Yeah,
and they never have been. They're a streaming company that now took over Funimation. To go to because the chat's already kind of moved in the direction I was going to speculate on. I think this is why we haven't seen any more movement on Mill Creek Blu-rays, because they're dubbing shows. Like Zet doesn't have a Blu-ray yet, probably because we're waiting for the dubs to happen. Yeah, honestly, like
because what Taiga,
this is great. This will help sell the set too.
I'm curious what's going on, what happened with Taiga, because
Taiga needed a new subtitle translation. It didn't have one. They would have to sub it, and because the cutoff on the original contract was Rube, they might be wanting to roll out, because Mill Creek loves doing this, where they'll wait a bit and then they'll just roll out one release after another, and maybe what they want to do is just go Taiga, Zet, Trigger, and maybe they're waiting for Trigger to get dubbed, so they could just do like 3 in a row, or Taiga, Zet back to back, that kind of thing.
Yeah, because who knows? Yeah. Maybe they did dub Trigger also, but maybe they wanted to see how well this.
I think they're testing with Zet, because that has been their most popular of the Reiwa shows. So, and Zet did incredibly well globally because it was, this is a really, 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 really smart move, and it makes me happy to see. Plus, it will wrap up airing the dub before whatever the next show is called, because I don't remember which trademark is the real one.
Because if it's because if they're doing this week is 1 episode, then every other week would be 2 episodes.
Yeah, it'll be done before July.
Yeah. But it's really great. I mean, it really is kind of sad. Like again, Subaru is doing the basic things here, but it's so big.
They're doing one different than every other company, though. They're just putting it on YouTube for everyone to watch and not trying to lock it down behind a paywall. Every other company does that. Subaru is just like, YouTube's like TV. Let's just put it up there and have people watch it.
I think because it could be easily because it's just that simple. Because I'm not sure Toei just still in their old man curmudgeon ways.
They kind of are. They don't want to. Toei doesn't want to do anything. They just want to pass off the show to somebody else to do the work.
No, again, it could be also another thing where. Because Ultraman is just Subaru and a little bit of Bandai, but then again, Bandai
does take all their profits, though, sadly.
Yeah, but like it's all Subaru. There's no Ishinomori Productions or anything.
Ishinomori Productions apparently wants to distribute more Kamen Rider, but Toei keeps roadblocking them.
So like with Kamen Rider, because Sentai, it will never. We have Power Rangers. That's you can't really get that much Sentai besides. But with Kamen Rider, I think really is a lot of the like. You got Toei, Ishimori, and what TBS Asahi, right?
TBS Asahi is a big problem.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Peacemaker says except for the movies, which are rentals. Yeah, the reason why they're rentals is because in Japan those movies go straight to the Subaru Imagination streaming service, and for some reason they won't just give us a streaming service here. But that's probably because like all the shows are over on like Tokusatsu because of the Mill Creek deal.
I'd rather have it be rental than.
But the reason why they do rental instead of purchase is because it's equivalent to the streaming service in Japan, because they don't have enough content to charge for a streaming service here, so they just are like, here, you want to watch this exclusive movie, you're gonna have to pay for it each time you want to watch it, kind of thing. But unlike other streaming services, Netflix, Disney Plus, they'll actually probably put a Blu-ray out at some point.
Yeah, because that's why like I don't mind really rent, because I think it's probably a smart move honestly for them to do it the way they're doing the renting than bring over Subaru Imagination, because that's another streaming service.
And the thing is that there's no point to bring Subaru Imagination over, because majority of that stuff that doesn't have subs that isn't already over here, and what's already over here is already free. So it doesn't work over here. But I do. The thing is that when they were charging for the live events, like when they bring in the actors and all that for the Ultraman Connection streams, there was at one point where I was like, can I just pay a subscription fee instead of paying for each of these live events separately. But they don't charge for the live events anymore, so I don't. Yeah, that changed.
First up, welcome to the chat, Charles Stevenson and Murat. I'll apologize if I mispronounced your name.
If we mispronounce your name, just tell us. We take criticism well.
Murat brings up. If they start selling the toys internationally, probably the Ultraman isn't going. Yeah, I think that's really the last thing left.
The toys is the last hurdle left, and I think it's because, from what I understand, Tsuburaya wants to have a better deal with Bandai because essentially, like, Tsuburaya is making a ton of money on Ultraman. Like, Ultraman is making a ton of money in Japan, in China, and Bandai is sucking up most of it. Like, Tsuburaya is not making much profit. And I think they want to make sure that whatever they do internationally, they don't get stuck into the same kind of contract.
There's a similar equivalent of that where most of was it Power Rangers or I forget.
Star Wars.
One Star Wars. Okay.
Even though Hasbro makes and sells the figures, a majority of the money goes to Disney. And so the thing is that Bandai makes and sells the toys, but Bandai's like making money off of Tsuburaya. Like they're kind of exploiting them really bad. So I think Tsuburaya doesn't want to just like extend that globally because they'll never get out of it. They're trying to get out of it while slowly getting Bandai stuff out. Because yeah, some of the Shin Ultraman stuff has gotten released. Big Bad Toy Store started listing the Ultra Action figures for like $25 or $30, which sounds like retail price. Yeah, like I just ordered the Wyndham today. But yeah, I think there's something going on because it's, I think that they're trying to make sure that they don't get exploited by Bandai in the rest of the world like they are in Asia, which is smart, really smart.
It's more of like because they want to. Yeah, that's the reason. Like, if you ever wonder why we keep getting Legacy Fusion gimmicks, all that stuff, Bandai. It's all Bandai.
Always Bandai. Rube never was supposed to have Legacy Ultra powers. It was strictly supposed to be elemental stuff, and it still was. They just had Ultraman stickers on it. Andreas, this is being dubbed differently than the Ultra Galaxy Fight dubs because
this is done by a proper dub studio in the US.
This is an actual American dub studio, not people in Japan who speak English.
With professional English dubbing actors in it.
They all have resumes here. So that'll be great. Let me I'm gonna pull up the Wyndham since I mentioned it.
I think also because the problem with the Ultra Galaxy fights, they're kind of more straight translations than like proper adaptation scripts where they probably localize the script to more naturally sound better in English.
Yep. That localization's good.
Smith, it's all Japan. They're all English actors in Japan.
Yep.
All the actors in Ultra Galaxy Fight work on other Japanese dubs, other Japanese English dubs.
I don't know if Ultraman's had any SCA dubs, and if they do, they're not the ones that they give to us. Anyways, over here on Big Bad Toy Store, not sponsored, but I like using them. The Ultra Woman Grigio Ultra Action figure is $22.99. Her figure art was P Bandai.
So this is a good like if you don't have her,
And then Wyndham even comes with an extra hand. He's $29.99. I wanted to order him because I don't really feel like buying the figure art. I think this is enough for me.
And even I know some people might go like.
There's also vinyls. I mean, they're selling vinyls for like $12. That's
because I think sometimes when people see those prices, especially since those are the basic figures, they kind of go weird. But like those are tell the price you sell them in Japan.
Meanwhile, here's the Okuwagata Oger figure where he's marked up a bit.
He's for it, but with the ultra figures, those are both Japanese retail, but also like import fees. So like
it's not too bad. Like if you're looking for them, $30 for Wyndham, $23 for Grigio. That's a good deal.
If a figure art, like pretty much thinking like this when it comes to Japanese figures in the US, if a figure art usually costs like $40 to $50 here in the US, then $20 is pretty much equal to our basic figures, our basic $10 figures in the US. Yep. Pretty much is the best way to kind of.
The Crow. I hope they do a Titus because I could really just buy that and be happy. Freaking Titus.
I'm surprised they haven't done a basic figure Titus and Teton.
Yeah, no, they really need to. I'm not getting Shining Ultimate Zero, whether figure art nor otherwise, just because I
still need to get those.
I'm out of bandwidth on buying toys right now. I got so much stuff.
I still need to get the figure I send your Ultraman, like the Zero Kid especially. Yeah. That told me a real great Galgar still haunts me because it's backorder on Hobby Link Japan. I'm like, ugh.
Yep. I finally got the God Gundam finally stocked at Big Bad Toy Store. He finally showed up in my.
You know what's weird? Because I
loot.
know when I got Ariel at Target, they re-released in Target the old high grade God Gundam kit.
God, that's so weird.
It was weird because it was sitting next to the real grade Wing Gundam kit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Small Dream. That's a good point. Yeah, for some reason the King Odr stuff on Big Bad Toy Store is like affordable and not like super marked up. I don't know what deal they're getting, but it's great. Spin Dash says, completely unrelated, but saw today that Shout is reprinting their complete DVD set of Reboot. That is fantastic. That set is amazing, and it's been out of print, and it's horrible.
Who owns Reboot? Question.
Rainmaker Entertainment, because they were the version of Mainframe.
I keep forgetting they're still around.
Yeah, they still exist. They're kind of dead to me, but yeah, I'm glad to see it's getting reprinted because that set is fantastic. It's one of the best DVD sets I've ever owned, honestly.
I'm really because was it only the G1 box hits is reprinted? It's only Transformers get reprinted because the Beast Wars sets are discontinued.
Everything
right?
Transformers is pretty much out of print except for G1.
Well, because I know a little about because I know you remember when people were getting like press kits for when Kingdom was coming out?
Yeah.
And those press kits come with a Beast Wars DVD because I think isn't that just the Shout Factory? You see the one?
It is the Shout Factory, but they went out of print after those press boxes.
Oh, okay.
Right as Beast Wars started getting popular again, they went out of print. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. it's like really now they go out of print right when
because I went Sentai, but like they super reprint the G1 DVD and wasn't?
Because I'm pretty sure they're animated DVDs out of print.
I'm pretty sure it is, and I'm pretty sure all the Unicron Trilogy stuff is gone. Because I remember, because now the G1 box set's still available, but isn't the move? Isn't all the new?
You can still buy animated. Maybe not everything's out. Maybe it's just Beast Wars and the Japanese stuff.
Hey, guys. Hey Wheels.
What's up?
Was Twitter hacked?
Okay, I don't know what's going on with the Doge. Okay.
Oh, the Doge. Yeah.
People are thinking that the April Fool's Day prank didn't go live when it was supposed to.
Yeah, because the Doge thing showed up, and I was just getting on just to find out what the hell was going on, because I was getting notifications, not on my main account, on one of my other accounts, like was getting like bombarded right now for something, and then I saw the Doge thing and can get into Twitter for like a good solid 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was confused with the Doge thing. I keep that was some kind of joke that Eon added. So I click on it and nothing happened. But then went to a different section. I click on it. It was sent me back home. It's like
looking at Shout Factory's website, there was more Transformers available than I thought. I'm gonna be honest. G1 complete set, animated, Cybertron, Transformers movie, 4K and Steelbook, More Than Meets the Eye, Armada movie, DVD, Primes, Blu-rays. I think the only thing that's gone is Beast Wars and the
Japanese.
Stuff.
Is Energon still available?
Energon's right there. Yeah, you get Energon.
Okay, so it's really just the Japanese set and Beast Wars.
Yeah. And Robots in Disguise season 1.
But then again, that shit wasn't even completed, so
I didn't even finish that. But yeah, I know. And the Rescue Bots DVDs are out of print.
Well, those were just. I don't think they ever.
Those were all volumes.
Yeah, I don't think they ever made.
By the way, props to Shout Factory for technically downgrading their website from a purpose-built one to a Shopify site because now it works.
Thank God.
I don't know what's worse though, the fact that the Shopify site works, or the fact that they had to downgrade to a shop. Like that's weird because like I'll be honest with you, while we've dealt with Shopify sites, like I think Tokusatsu is one of them.
Yep.
I don't personally like them because they always look fake. Like they look very.
Well, they're stock built because they're using a template.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I definitely I don't know, I'm just glad the Shout site works. You can search for things again. We got 2 more news topics. I'd love to just blow through the next one. It's not.
All right, I'm assuming you're saying Blue Beetle is the last thing.
Yep, we're doing Digimon Seekers. This is more of a PSA than anything.
I'm guessing you guys already did the Ultraman one.
Yeah, we just finished the Ultraman.
Okay.
You were like 25 minutes too late.
If you want to hear Wheels' thoughts on the Ultraman news, stay tuned
for Wednesday.
Hero Club for life on Twitch.tv.
Yep.
Because boy, do I have a should I say, a polarizing or conflicting thought where I'm cool with this and also not cool with this.
I will hear about why you're not cool with it on Wednesday, because I don't want to derail the show.
Wait, Sal, maybe, because you have the power outage, maybe.
Oh yeah, I might not have power Wednesday, so we'll see. But anyways, Digimon Seekers.
So what is your PSA for?
Okay, my PSA for Digimon Seekers. So for those unaware, I'm just gonna drop the link. Bandai's current thing for Digimon. Ghost Game has ended. We're not getting another TV anime yet. Unlike when Digimon Frontier ended, or when Digimon Sabers ended, or when Digimon Cross Wars ended, or when Atmon ended, there is something coming up. Okay, like we're not just going with like complete radio silence. The Digimon Adventure 02 movie is coming out in October, and I think they're moving the staff to work on that because that's what they did with Dragon Ball. But in the meantime, for the next year, we're getting the Digimon 25th Project Digimon Seekers, which is a novel, which I know is a weird new thing for some people. It's a light novel, which anime fans may be familiar with. I am.
Is this Digimon's first light novel?
This is Digimon's first light novel, except for the Kizuna novelization.
Okay, because I know they mostly do mangas, which I know half of them are not translated.
So this is a novel, trailer, and products, which this just looks like a marketing graphic. I don't know why this is this is like a business investor graphic, you know? Novel, trailer, products, like, okay. So anyways, the page I linked has your link to show you all the characters and stuff. The thing I want to recommend is, if you do have Google Chrome, like I do, you're going to see the top of my browser here. There's nothing hiding there. To English, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have this, switch it back to Japanese, because there is a built-in Japanese to English here on the site. So, for example, I think this happened here. You see how when I have it switched to English here, it looks nice. But then if you switch on your auto-translate and switch it back to Japanese, it's sort of fixed now. Yesterday, I had this problem where like the text blocks were overlapping each other because of the auto-translation happening twice. So, anyways, just turn it off, use the built-in translation. Now, the only bummer with this thing is the novel is machine translated according to the Digimon Web's machine translation. So I got to switch it back to
because pretty much if you read any like the reference book like information,
pretty much. So here's chapter 1. There is audiobook versions, but they're only in Japanese. You can get this in Japanese, English, or Chinese, and it will give you. There's a couple of visuals. It's not like a visual novel, but there is, here's a picture of Tyrannomon and the thing. Here is our nice little setting photo.
As someone who reads light novels, light novels do this where they'll put pictures of important scenes.
Yeah, to kind of give you an idea to set up the sequence. So the way they're doing this, which I know is a bit confusing, we got chapter 1. We got chapter 1-1 came out yesterday. If you click next story, it'll go down and give you chapter 1-2. And so this week, every day they're adding another dash something to chapter 1. And then next week we're going to get chapter 2. And that's going to continue at least for a year, apparently.
The way how they're doing it, this first chat, it really feels like a Mario level, like 1-2, 1-3.
Yep, 1-2, 1-3. Now, to go alongside this, what's really cool is that the trailer part of this, because obviously the products is a Vital Bracelet band and a DIM card, which I don't know, I might review it when I get it. The trailer part of this, if you go to trailer, there is a video, there's a teaser trailer, and then now there is the chapter 1 trailer, which is a 2-minute live-action short that shows you key moments from chapter 1. And it's cool to see. It's actually in English with Japanese subtitles, the exact opposite of what I expected. But yeah, that's pretty cool. They're going to kind of build this out, I think, with some interaction, because there is a fan art section, which is coming soon.
This whole Digimon Seekers stuff reminds me of, how like with the Transformers movie lines, it'll be whenever there's a gap between movies, there's kind of a movie subline that has their own like lore and own toys for that subline.
That's basically this.
Yeah, because they're on break with Digimon anime right now, but they still want to keep the Digimon media out there, so they're having this to be their in between anime stuff into the next mainline anime is ready.
Plus, it uses the Vital Bracelet, so it works in with their current product line. And I read the first two parts of the first chapter. I like it. I'm gonna see, obviously more of it. I don't have like a ton of deep thoughts yet.
We used
still
to.
getting going.
I haven't read it. I haven't read it yet. But will you say it's similar to like Cyber Sleuths like kind of style?
It's got the style of kind of like all the characters are over 18, which is a nice change of pace. It's definitely aimed at the more adult Digimon fan. There's a really cool thing in like the trailer where like a bunch of Commandramon come out of a dropship, and that's like the coolest thing I've seen in Digimon in a while. But yeah, I mean it's pretty cool, and I like it because it's different, it's new, it's exciting. I don't know if it's gonna be great in the long run, and I hope that the translation doesn't impede the actual
It's
experience.
Come on, guys, it's a light novel. It's gonna get way overhyped, blown out of proportion, turned into like 7 animes, and probably have a song composed by the
what
person
world do you
Sword Art
live in?
Online.
Because this isn't the reality we live in with Digimon.
Oh no, I'm making the joke. I'm just making the joke of Sword Art Online in that because of what's her face sings like every light novel now show that I can think of.
Oh, okay.
The chick who like sings like most of Sword Art Online went on to do like almost. I'm just like, this is probably gonna get way overhyped, or it's gonna fade into obscurity like all the Gundam ones.
I think this is gonna be exactly what it's meant to be. I'll hold over until the next big Digimon thing.
It's a nice side thing. It's a thing to keep the brand.
I think the live action trailers are like the coolest part so far. I really like.
How about we just give us a live action Digimon, cowards?
That's more expensive than they have money for right now.
I know, right? They just need to get an American studio.
Which is sad because honestly, I do actually like the CG they use in their live action trailers. It actually looks really nice.
Because Digimon are digital, so of course they're gonna.
Digimon's done with the live action stuff. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, the only good live action Pokemon thing was technically Detective Pikachu versus.
And that movie was a giant fan fiction-y level mess of a plot.
Well, that's because they were fan fiction-y level mess of a plot to begin with.
Exactly.
By casting Ryan Reynolds.
I know. God, the fact there was a reason Ryan Reynolds was the voice of Pikachu was still blowing my mind.
There was a reason?
There was a reason in the story.
I know. Oh, for the story. I
know. Like there was a reason why there was a Ryan Reynolds sounding freaking Pokemon. Anyways,
I love to see people talk about Chris Pratt Mario, but I feel like people kind of forgot Ryan Reynolds Pikachu.
Yeah, but there was a story reason for that.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be weird and unsettling.
You want a story reason for Chris Pratt Mario?
There really isn't. Detective Pikachu was a game, and then it had a completely unrelated movie. Which, I mean, the movie was fine, but it's no Sonic the Hedgehog. But anyways, let's see. I saw something about the Vital app. There is not really a solution to make the Vital bracelet app work better. For like 12 hours, it was completely broken. Like on Saturday, it wasn't even accessible, and they had to put out like 2 patches in the same day to fix it.
When DigiCon was happening. I tried to enter the tournament thingy, and I couldn't get a match.
No, I can never get anything to work. They are doing a whole big event with the Vital bracelet soon, and I'm like, but y'all, your app still is busted.
That app better be better if we're gonna do a big event.
All right, so I'll go over this since it's just like right here. There is the Vital Bracelet Spring Festival, where there's going to be a new update. Let's see, they're going to reveal the Digimon Evolution vote. Why did I just get 20 notifications at once? Okay. There's going to be an update on the last week of April to add a feature to the Vital Bracelet app. God, I hope this doesn't break it. It's called an App Adventure, where you can send your Digimon off on an adventure in the app, and they'll return with items. And then there will be a software update for the Bee that'll allow you to get items from the NFC battles and use items in the Bee itself, which sounds great. I hope it doesn't break the Bee.
Well, that's the thing. These are really good updates. Like, I like the idea of sending your Digimon in your app to.
They're adding team battles in first week of May. Second week of May, they're opening a lobby. Third week of May, there's going to be a tournament. But is it going to work?
That's the thing, because I really like these updates. They're like really good use. Honestly, reminds me back in the day with you guys remember the Poke Walker for like Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver. It reminds me of that, but like the problem is I don't trust the app to work.
Yeah, the app has just been so buggy lately. It's not. I don't trust it. I don't know how it's going to go. To be honest, I just don't know. Commodore 64, we're technically getting an Ultraman adaptation in the Netflix animated movie.
Is that supposed to come out this year, or is that? Or
that has never been given a date.
Yeah, I think we're getting some kind of update this year. I
Hello,
heard,
Crossy Hossy. Alliteration is my favorite thing in words.
All right, is there any other thing before we go to the big Beetle?
Before we get to the Beetle of Blue, I think we're about ready to switch over to the Beetle of Blue. All right, so I just pulled up the trailer because straight up I just want to pause this thing and look at it and be like, all right, guys, let's talk about this. I'm gonna ignore my YouTube notification bell that has a bunch of unread notifications. So Blue Beetle finally got a trailer. I've been waiting for this movie. I won't say the biggest Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle fan, but I'm at least in the top 10. There's not a lot of us, so it's not like it's saying that much.
It's weird. As the years have gone on, I've been going against Jaime when I used to love Jaime when I was a teenager.
Yeah, you're weird, and we're not going to listen to your opinion. So
we're going to listen to it because he's just a Guyver. He's just the Guyver.
He's not even a Guyver anymore.
I know, but he's just a Guyver.
I know.
I mean, have you seen his newest look in Graduation Day?
he is a Kamen Rider now, guys. He is a Kamen Rider. So Blue Beetle trailer. This was originally an HBO Max movie. Now it's a theatrical, which is cool.
So at least one of these survive.
You know why they made it theatrical? Because they're just gonna kill the app eventually, right?
Well, I think that's the big thing.
I think the James Gunn seems to love this movie. He's talked about this one highly. He's been promoting it a whole lot. Anyways, we get this cool shot of rich people's beach resort. I'm not that interested. We're moving on. Essentially, the joke here is that it's
WB takes us down because we're.
They don't money to
So, anyways, there's some good gags here. But essentially, dramatic reveal. But he's just working to clean places at this beach resort. I love the color palette. Palmera City. This is a new city that was introduced in the comics recently. And a comic that was written after this movie was filmed. So totally, this was a oh yeah, we're going to put it in the comics before we do the movie. So that way, it syncs up, which is pretty great. And yeah, the thing is I saw somebody on Twitter say that Blue Beetle is basically DC's Spider-Man if he was wearing a Venom symbiote. And why has this not been more successful? And why have they not tried harder with him? And I agree, because it's a winning formula.
Spin-Dash sees where I'm going with this.
Yeah, no, there's great stuff. Anyways, this whole thing with
I love how colorful this movie is.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's what happens when you get a director from Mexico. You just get color.
What happens when you get someone who's not Snyder?
Snyder loves color. This is the biggest misconception I think I've ever seen.
But then why does he always put filters over his stuff?
He doesn't. He puts a filter to increase the depth of detail, and so people keep seeing it thinking it's low color because they don't adjust their TVs properly. That is the biggest thing with Zack Snyder. Loves color. He just likes putting a detail filter on everything, and that gets washed out on a lot of TVs if your settings aren't adjusted correctly.
Honestly,
I came here to laugh at you.
Cows!
Hey, Cows!
How's the table?
Good. Perfect.
Good. Excellent.
Because I would say this film is a lot more colorful than Shazam, Fear of the Gods. Because I think that's my big problem with Fear of the Gods. It's kind of really dull looking.
Yeah, that one was really kind of dull looking. We're talking about the Blue Beetle trailer, by the way, Cass.
I didn't know that dropped.
Yeah, it did. You're getting the sound out breakdown.
Or is it Ted Cord?
It's Jaime. It's always been Jaime.
Jaime has to be it, because I'm going to be completely honest. As somebody that loves the legacy of Blue Beetle and thinks Ted Cord is great, there's no point in doing Ted Cord in any solo projects at any point in any time because he is not that interesting on his own. Ted Cord got popular because he was on Justice League International.
Yeah, because it's dynamic with Booster.
Yep.
So good.
Ted Cord doing solo Ted Cord stuff, bad idea. Because he is just not visually interesting either.
Because he is just pretty much more fun Batman, really.
Yeah, basically.
That's what we need, a fun Batman, though. We need a fun Batman. We don't need
It's called Batman.
We have a fun Batman. It's called We've had a lot of Batmans. By the way, if you don't like Batman, you're going to love George Lopez. Anyways, so moving on. So Jaime seems to be given a box, a Big Belly Burger box. Shout out to Big Belly Burger. Always showing up. Big Belly Burger.
The only thing consistent in DC media.
Yeah, exactly. I really like that Mr. Big Belly got a beard now. He's upgraded. He's moved up in the world. Let's see. And so inside the Big Belly Burger, which guys, did anyone even recognize George Lopez with this crazy beard?
Like, oh, that's George. Like,
when
that's
I
George
saw the bumper going, Blue Beetle drops tomorrow, I was like, oh, it's George Lopez with a beard.
Yep.
I didn't recognize that was George Lopez.
Mhm.
Now the only thing is this movie will automatically be good if they sneak the George Lopez show song into the movie, and I will not say otherwise. Like, that is the only way this movie will become an instant classic. Is if
I mean, they probably can do crazy things. Okay.
More I look at it is George Lopez. It's just I haven't seen him for a while, so like I don't.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Surprise! It's not a burger. It's a beetle.
First, I'm really glad that having his Jaime's family know he's revealed.
I'm glad not only does the family know, they're there for the origin scene.
Because there's no way you can.
Oh yeah, that's like the best part of the trailer that they showed off. Like, that's the one that they actually promoted. That the trailer.
This is the greatest lore change that Blue Beetle has ever experienced. It's just the family's there when he gets it.
Because you can't do the Infinite Crisis specs. There's no way you can do that.
I love this. I love that the family, like, instead of him telling the family early on like he did in the original
Jaime never told his family he was revealed.
The chat agrees with me. You got to sneak in Low Rider when George is on screen.
Exactly. Look, he needs to just be playing it in his car or something, you know?
Exactly.
Well, stream is buffering. It's slowly coming back.
It's coming back.
Yeah, it's back.
We're just going to keep pushing forward. I turned down the resolution on the video.
Just sneak in the entire cast of the Lopez show and make it like a fake-ass Lopez show reunion.
Guys, this is the most, like, Tokusatsu-esque shot you could get out of an American film.
I mean, first off, the suit is practical. I am so happy to see the suit be practical.
Oh, Donnie Pearson, I'm sorry to hear that your dad passed away last morning. I send my condolences and my love. That is rough. Is anything we can do to help, let us know.
Jerry has that myself.
Yeah, Jerry has very close experience with that kind of feeling.
If it's asking us to invest in Bitcoin, though, that we cannot do.
Yeah, we're not going to invest in Bitcoin. But if you need anything from us, let us know. We're here. We can talk things out. But on that note, we're going to go back to where were we at with Blue Beetle? Because I do want to keep us on track. I'm not trying to. I'm balancing everything. So
I don't know. A death in the family is usually derailing.
It is derailing. But I also don't know
but the
if he's
suit,
going to respond right away.
Suit,
but know that we're here, and you can feel free to speak with us.
But yeah, the suit again. I'm so happy it's a practical suit because, I don't mind like the CG suits like the MCU does, but like it kind of really does sort of depress me every time seeing behind the scenes MCU films, and all I see is just Robert Downey Jr. or Tom Holland wearing like gray morph suits and such.
Yeah, it is nice to see a practical suit.
I'm gonna be honest. If you're an actor who doesn't want to get into a practical suit, then you're a shitty ass actor and should stop acting.
It's not up to the actor.
I know. I'm just.
It's never up to the actor.
Also, I'm quite glad they tried to give him a mouth because I think that will look. I think giving Jaime the mouth will look really weird in live action.
Yeah.
Because one of those designs that because it's same if they ever do a Batman Beyond live movie, I don't think they should give him the mouth either because that'll look weird. They
didn't give him like the straight up like mouth, but he still has like a mouth shape to it. I was gonna say when it comes to building a practical suit versus CG, it's up to the studio, the VFX artists, and the budget.
Well, I know that some of the actors hate fucking masks.
That's also up to the agent.
Yeah, because you can't hide Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr.'s face, kind of thing.
I mean, I want to hide Tom Holland's face. Kid looks like he's 5.
But
he's going to be able to be eternally young, and then he's going to get really old really fast.
The kids came to see Tom Holland, so they're going to show Tom Holland's face.
Yeah, it's always a marketing thing when they remove their masks so much because just because it's the agents like you gotta see my client's face more.
God, at least Marvel would love me then because I'd be making sure that like I tell my agency, no. If I'm being a superhero, I have to wear the mask. That's the whole point of being a superhero.
Mm-hmm. And I think that the best directors can pull it off and balance it and make everybody happy.
Exactly, because like if they were like telling me right now, you get to be like Wolverine or I get to be like Hawkman, No, that mask is
Mhm.
staying on for most of the time. I'm not taking it off. Now, if it's a domino mask, then everyone wins because a domino mask you can actually tell who the hell is wearing it.
Yep.
Because really enough, like I know people don't like quote unquote nanotech stuff in a lot of modern superhero films,
Oh
but
my
like
god, I'm glad you brought
it
that
has
up.
become too much of a trend, I think.
But like you think Blue Beetle's like the one hero that makes the most sense.
It works for him.
The ones outside of Iron Man.
Iron Man, him, Star-Lord. That's perfect. Ant-Man got the nanotech stuff now, and I'm just like, guys, it was cool when you carried around your suit in a tiny little case.
I think for me, Door having the nanotech stuff is like really, do we really like having like I don't think it was meant to be a nanotech, but it's like it literally was the same effect. I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Judge Dredd, thanks to Carl Urban for saying I'm not removing the helmet. Like he was like, I'm never taking the helmet off. I will walk from this movie if you make me.
On the original live act, people watch Dredd. That movie's so good.
Great.
I love both Dredd movies. They're great. Yeah. I love both. I love one for the grittiness and one for the camp.
Yeah, same. No, I like the.
They both have their own place. But back to Blue Beetle. I'm trying to keep the show slightly on track here.
I just paused to see Blue Beetle. Looks all right.
Yeah.
Can we talk about? Can we talk about Jaime? First off, the bugs in the movie.
I love this this heads up display isn't just the Iron Man display, and we're not seeing it from Jaime's perspective, but like we're seeing it from Jaime's perspective instead of like the the usual internal helmet
face surrounded by LED lights.
Woo. Yep.
I was saying I'm not sure how I feel about having Kajita speak. I'm
used to Kajita speaking. That's not that weird.
I mean, I'm so used to hearing just
that was a budget thing in Brave and the Bold. Kajita spoke in Young Justice, but Kajita's voice was the same as Jaime's. And then it's been speaking a lot in the comics. So this time it's got a female voice, which is kind of neat.
Well, yeah, because in the original Jaime, right, it was just all reach gibberish language.
It was all telepathic. Like Jaime understood it through telepathy.
That's what I'm so used to mostly.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, then suddenly the suit's like, I'm gonna take you and fly you away. And he's like, no, don't do that, my roof. Yeah, and then it's just like, we get this really cool shot where he's like in space. And it's like, this is obviously like a composite shot. But like, it looks great. It looks like a composite shot in the way a tokusatsu would do a composite shot.
As well as you could kind of say the film was meant to be HBO Max, but honestly, I still say it looks good. I think what it adds to the space.
I just hope they don't expect this thing to hit like $1 billion or something, because that would be dumb.
I really hope, because I mean,
I think this thing's gonna do moderately well. I think.
I think comparing to Shazam, and I really like Fear the Gods, but I think I've definitely seen much more positive reaction.
There was no point to Shazam 2 to come out after they announced that universe was rebooting, because they kept marketing it off of the fact that he's not Flash, he's not Aquaman, he's not Batman, he's Shazam, and that's a weird marketing tactic, is to go, he's not all these cool things, whereas this trailer's like, he's Blue Beetle.
Yeah, because I think what the problem with Shazam is the marketing is both the marketing and also the kind of sour taste in people's mouth because of both Black Adam and the James Gunn plans.
Yep. Spin Dash, this is technically the first Gunn universe movie, because according to Gunn, Flash resets the universe, and that's what they use going forward, and that Blue Beetle and Aquaman are technically part of his new universe. It's not, Gunn wasn't involved in the production of this, but it's technically the start. And it's a fresh start, so it works out.
And seeing how looks like besides the one comment of Batman, which you could literally just say could be any Batman or whatever.
Exactly. It's not showing.
I'm Batman.
It's not showing Affleck's battering, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, moving forward, I like how the mask moves when he talks. It's cool. He comes crashing to Earth. And barely,
because it can't be Jaime while crashing from space.
Exactly. This summer, Latino superheroes unite. No, seriously, between this and Spider-Verse, we're at 3. That's a new record, right? Yeah, the family's involved.
Anymore, it becomes a Latino faction.
You know what?
The LWO.
Why not? Anyways, this is great because this is like, all right. So he does this thing where he like they're talking about the suit protects him over anything else. I was getting flashbacks to the Invincible scene.
Yeah, I was getting flashbacks to the Invincible train scene.
But I love how it's shot specifically to show that nobody's getting hurt. He's perfectly in the middle of the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, movie, for not having him accidentally murder a bunch of people.
I would prefer that so we could see more of Twitter hot takes.
It's already there for Invincible, so here we have one.
Yep. Him just freaking out like this, that's so in character. It's Jaime screaming and not knowing what to do. That is
because
a lot of the character.
I'm blanking on the actor's name, but I'm familiar with him with Cobra Kai, and I think he's a perfect choice for Jaime.
Jolo Mariduena.
Yeah, he is. I saw his work on Cobra Kai, and he's a perfect actor for Jaime. And I think I think when we see in the trailer, he does.
But no, I think he's doing a great job in this. You know what? I don't even know if this will have mid and post credit scenes since it was scheduled for HBO Max originally.
There's still definitely a chance, but like,
watch all the stinger. Like,
oh god, watch what
they had is gonna be the Easter egg ones. Like,
what if they freaking I'm not sure reshot's the right word, but like, they add a scene where Booster Gold fucking comes out.
That'd be crazy. Susan Sarandon's in this movie, guys.
As Ted Cord's sister,
as Victoria Cord, who we only know that she's playing Victoria Cord because she spoiled that in an interview. And in Blue Beetle Graduation Day, the recent comic, Victoria Cord is Ted Cord's sister. So she seems like she's trying to get the Scarab back, like she had the Scarab, probably from Ted's stuff. The other thing about this movie that they haven't talked about is the fact that they shot it twice.
Really?
Yeah, because Susan Sarandon talked about this in an interview like a month ago. They apparently shot everything in English and then shot everything in Spanish.
Oh, because I know they do that for I know what they do for older books. I know Graduation Day. Don't they have one?
Graduation Day was released in English and Spanish, with some Spanish appearing in the English because those were just people speaking Spanish.
That's really great. That's the case.
But apparently the movie is getting a Spanish version as well, and apparently it's not a dub, but that they actually shot scenes in English and Spanish.
Because the only other movie
there's not like any official confirmation. That's just what Susan Sarandon was saying, but.
Because the only other movie I could think of that did that was it Dracula? Like
Dracula.
The original,
but that was a little different. That was shot.
So.
Dracula was completely different actors. It was the same sets and props and costumes, but it was different actors.
Okay, but so that's impressive. That is true.
Yeah. So I believe she said that because she said she I had to learn more Spanish to do this movie because we were shooting it, in English and Spanish. And I don't know if she necessarily meant that they actually shot it twice, or if they
it might be
dubbed
two different takes. It might be like
they may just be different takes. Like they did one take in English, one take in Spanish. You know, because the director's bilingual, so he would be able to know.
Well, I'm glad they got a Mexican director.
Yep, because Mexican director. The writer is also, I believe, Latino.
So it really does.
The behind-the-scenes talent fits the culture of the character they're portraying, and I think that's really important.
You can really tell those have a lot of love and passion behind this.
Also, speaking of love and passion, I really do appreciate that Jaime and his sister don't have accents. Because that is a thing.
Not every Latino has an accent.
Right, because that is a thing that comes up a lot in media when you have Hispanic or Latina characters. They have an accent. Even if they like in the case of Jaime, comics-wise, Jaime was born in America. Yeah, he was born in El Paso. So he wouldn't have an accent because when he was learning English, he'd be learning English with native English speakers because of where he lives. And that's a thing I can attribute to people in my own life. Like, you know, I have friends who were born here and their parents were from Mexico, but they don't have accents. Their parents do. Because of where they learned language, you know, and that's something I'm glad to see because, you know, it's not like necessarily it's problematic when that happens, but it's something that happens a lot where they're like, we want to portray that this character is Hispanic or Latino, and so the way we're going to do it is by giving him an accent, and it's like, would he have that accent if he was raised in an area that wouldn't be accent heavy, you know, that kind of thing. So with Jaime specifically, Jaime and his sister Milagro, they should both be, they don't need to have accents essentially.
Yeah, because
it's not a problem if they do, but it's more realistic if they don't actually.
Yeah, because and not just for.
That's why when we do the Hero Club, mockumentary or whatever you call those biopics, where it's played by actor portrayal, Soundout will have a full-on Mexican accent since he is Mexican, of course.
Yes, even though I was born in Iceland.
Exactly. We'll have Soundout, and we'll actually have Mexican. We'll have Soundout be played by a Mexican guy too.
Just have me played by Diego Luna because we have the same facial hair shape. So
it'll be like the most hilarious thing ever. Everyone will be like, "Why Soundout Mexican? Oh, don't you know he's Mexican? Like he's not fully Mexican though. No, he's Mexican." I was trying to drive that point home.
He's Mexican enough.
Yeah, I'm like, for example, I was raised in America. I have an American, accent because accents is the first language I was learning was American.
Because that's the thing is like accents aren't genetic; they're regional.
Mm-hmm.
They depend on where you live. And that's the thing is like you spend long enough time in different parts of the country, your accent will shift.
Is it true? I'm not sure this is like a kind of like. I'm not sure it's true or like a word of mouth, but doesn't Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't need? I heard that he needs a personal trainer to help. Yeah,
he has a vocal coach.
Yeah, so that's true because I heard about that. I wasn't sure because he's been here in America so long that he started to lose the accent because he.
Yep.
So,
but then he's known for the Austrian accent, so he's like has to keep training himself to use it again. Yeah. Sylvester Stallone needs a vocal coach because he has a tendency to slur his words.
Well, that's also because he had that stroke.
Even before the stroke, like he just had a tendency. He wasn't very good at enunciating words.
It was because when he was born, they used tongs to pull him out, and it pinched a nerve, and that nerve's always stayed pinched.
That's still one of the weirder things though, where he slurred more when he was younger than after the stroke. Somehow the stroke cleared him up.
Yeah, also because he had all the vocal lessons too.
Yeah.
Welcome to the chat, Super Shaddix Boom. Anyways, I've had this paused on Susan Sarandon for a minute here. But she's a pretty big get for this movie, honestly. Like she's well known.
I don't know.
I like how the cast is all in with this Blue Beetle. It's not like, oh no, nobody knows who I am. They all saw him.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like the origin is in the family, like at their dinner table. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. Guys looking for Scarab, usual stuff. Family. I don't know who that was supposed to be.
Love that fight.
We got a hallway fight, guys.
Hallway fight.
We're getting a hallway fight for Blue Beetle.
I love that, big fist bumps he does. He's like his club weapons. Yeah,
he's basically doing injustice moves here. There's
but
this.
You gotta tell me when he has his supercharged.
This, guys.
The Beetle.
See, this is where I'm like, you know what? The coolest thing about Ted Kord Blue Beetle, in terms of his power set and what he does, is his freaking bug ship. And look at it, it's right here.
The bug.
And
it looks so good.
Already got tagged, but that's just how it goes when you leave stuff around. But Beetle ship, guys. The Beetle ship is here. Do you know how happy this makes me?
That means we can finally get a Space Ghost movie. Woo!
And the best part too is the Beetle ship.
Toys this, right?
I want a toy. Yeah, I do want a toy of the Beetle ship. Yes.
Colin's. I figured there's not gonna be any kids' toys because this was gonna be HBO Max. But Colin's Spin Master.
Spin Master, make us a Beetle ship. Give us a George Lopez figure to pilot because George Lopez is flying Beetle ship.
And they better play Low Rider while he's driving.
Look, if they don't, I will edit it for you. Okay.
Fine.
It's Spin Master does make a toy of the bug. They should have it as a licensed sound feature.
Oh god, yes.
Yep. I love how the grandma's holding this thing that looks like a giant kaleidoscope Gatling gun.
Listen. The grandma came prepared, man. She came strapped, unlike everyone else in there. One's got a mace. She's got a gun.
Guys, I got okay. I'm gonna turn off the. I went to intermission for a second. I'm back. Okay. I gotta tell you this from a personal experience thing. Okay. I'm gonna look straight in the camera. All right. I'm gonna look at myself.
No, he won't. Camera. No, he won't. He'll look idly to the left.
If anyone is wondering why Jaime's entire family is on this adventure, flying around the Beetle ship with tech and running from things, it's because their kid is in trouble and they're going to help him. Because the thing about Mexican families is they stick together so tightly that they'll never truly be apart. There was a thing recently. I had a friend whose birthday was on the same day I planned to see Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and so afterwards, we went to dinner, and it was me and my parents got invited to his birthday dinner, which was going to just be his mom and grandma, but then his aunt's birthday was the next day, so the aunt decided to come along too, and then that aunt brought her husband, her 3 kids, their 2 friends, one of the kids' girlfriends, there was another aunt and uncle and another person, and eventually the group became 16 people at an Olive Garden. This just happened.
What question did Gun send your family to the Olive Garden?
That's such an old white New England thing, or like
Yes.
13 colonies level kind of thing. Because if you're in New York, that happens here.
The thing is that if the family is still, and so the fact that I'm seeing like the entire family here, like in the Beetle ship, this is just perfect. This is legitimately, this is understanding culture on a level that only people in the culture can understand. It's great. Also, yeah, we actually love Olive Garden. Honestly, it was even before Sonic. That's why the Sonic joke is even funnier in my family.
Man, you actually have good Olive Garden?
Oh yeah. No, the thing was that group of 16, you think it would have taken forever for the food to come out. It only took I think we were in and out in less than 2 hours.
Because I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure me and Jerry can tell you horror stories about Olive Gardens up here. They're horrible. They are the worst place to ever eat here.
I haven't been to one like that, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's an east like for some reason.
I went to an Olive Garden in Rhode Island. It was not as good as the Olive Garden here.
Because every time I hear of great Olive Garden stories, it never takes place anywhere in the East Coast. I've never seen a good Olive Garden story, at least the Northeast. I've never seen us have a good one.
I have to address 2 things in the chat. Andrea says this is no Beetleborgs movie. There's no Elvis ghost. No, this is Mexican Beetleborgs. We got George Lopez.
That's your equivalent.
And he did actually have his own late night show, like Jay Leno.
This is true. Also, Shigs mentions families big in Mexican culture. It's why the Spy Kids movies have a big family together theme. Yeah, absolutely. No, the Spy Kids. The Spy Kids movies are great. Okay.
Post credit scene. Danny Trejo comes out as Machete.
Honestly, there was if anyone goes to Regal theaters, I do. They have this their version of the Nicole Kidman ad that plays before movies at Regal has this scene where it's Danny Trejo and his whole family at the movies, complaining about who drink each other's drinks by accident. And it's just it's literally him and his actual kids because he was just I just wanted to be part of this commercial. Danny Trejo's awesome. Anyways, I am getting Spy Kids vibes from this, and I mean that in an absolute positive.
In all the good ways. Can we talk about the final scene in the?
We're almost there. I'm not quite there yet.
I like though how Ryan how he stuttered, but instead of saying final, he said the fuck final, and I was that was great.
Here we go.
That was great.
So Jaime rolls up. Okay, here's Shigs. I'm going to ask you the hard question: which is better, Spy Kids 3 or Ant-Man the Lost Quantumania? Because only one of those has Ricardo Montalban in a power suit. So I'm gonna leave you at that. Anyways, I thought Jaime was gonna do his Injustice finisher because that's a thing they just keep doing in DC movies lately. Because he pulled out the 2 blades, but then he's like, no, I'm actually Cloud Strife, thank you. And
he does the Obari pose.
He does the Obari pose, and someone tagged Angel Manuel Soto on Twitter and was like, "Was this an intentional Obari pose?" And he just sent back a winking gif. So the answer is yes. Yeah, there was a Spy Kids 4.
We don't talk about that one.
Okay, we'll just not talk about that. Anyways, Obari pose, guys. Jerry can attest to this. Latinos love anime.
We sure do.
It's inherently in the blood, right?
And usually they don't like mecha as much as they love hot-blooded shonen.
Well, my favorite gag is always gonna be how big Dragon Ball is in Mexico. So
it's like I said, the big religions in Mexico are Catholicism, KOF, Dragon Ball,
Saint
Seiya.
Saint Seiya. Yeah.
And usually Saint Seiya goes over Dragon Ball just because all the cool crap that they mostly love is Z era stuff, like most Americans.
It's funny we bring up Spy Kids 3 because I just remember George Lopez was in that movie.
Yeah,
that's why I said it earlier. I said George Lopez was in the movie.
Was he? Yeah, he was.
Barry was in all the movies. Yeah.
Don't forget Uncle Machete, family-friendly Uncle Machete.
Yeah, Uncle Machete.
Because Robert Rodriguez was like, I'm calling up Danny Trejo. That's why, like, when Book of Boba Fett had episodes directed by Robert Rodriguez, I started the Danny Trejo clock. I was like, boom, he's showing up in the show, and he did.
Which fun fact for DC, do you know that Danny Trejo played Bane in Young Justice?
Yes,
hey, what do you want to spin off this children's series? How about this hard R grindhouse?
Right. Oh, totally.
But so, McFarlane, because there probably is gonna be at least one McFarlane figure. I kind of hope.
Yeah, girl.
And Shark Boy. No, I think he wasn't. I think he was in one of the Spy Kids movies. I'm pretty sure, other than Shark Boy and Lava Girl, he wasn't one of them.
I love how this has become George Lopez stream.
You knew it was going to be once I showed up.
This is just to appreciate this man's career. Let's see. Film.
At this point,
no, he wasn't in Spy Kids. He was in. He was.
I thought he was.
He was in Shark Boy and Lava Girl, which was also,
okay.
Robert
Rodriguez. I thought he was in 4. I thought he was in 4, the one we don't talk about.
Yeah, no, he was no. He's not. I think you think of George Clooney, maybe.
No. George Clooney's like in a lot of things.
Oh, that's right. George Lopez was in Harley Quinn. As Harley Quinn.
Wait, where?
As Harley Quinn. As George Lopez. He played himself. In an episode of Harley Quinn. Yeah, no, he was in Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Is that the one where he looks like MODOK?
Yes.
Is that why everyone kept associating that with Spy Kids 3?
Yep. Probably. Because it's out of
yeah, there he is. There he is as MODOK. I mean, whatever. I don't remember this. I can't remember anything. Buster Sword. And then he does this move, which is just the coolest thing I've probably ever seen in a superhero movie. And then the eyes focus in. It's great.
I really do like to give like
Muteki T, we're still streaming. If it hiccups, try reloading.
I really like how they handle the eyes on the suit.
Yeah.
Like, because I like they're not just yellow. They have the pupil in the eye, like in the comics. It's really great. Now, like this is honestly the Blue Beetle suit is probably one of the best films, like comic to film adaptation I've seen, because it's practically 1-to-1. Almost.
They did a Tokusatsu move.
It literally just. I think the only thing they added is some extra greebling, which depending on the artist would be on the suit in the comics.
Mm. And they've pretty much ignored everything that happened in the New 52 comic, which is great because that one sucks. Honestly, yeah, Spy Kids 3 and Shark Boy and Lava Girl, I think, have merged into one movie in my brain.
Well, I mean, after Robert Rodriguez did that whole movie where it was like, let's be superheroes, something like that, where he merged everything into like this.
That's right. Yeah.
Can we talk? So, are we gonna talk about the final scene, like the very final scene?
We will get there in a moment. I just wanted to look at this beautiful shot. This is what happens when you get. This is what happens when you get Hispanic Latino directors to do movies, because then they just get really animated. It's like Michael B. Jordan doing Creed 3 and like throwing in Hajime no Ippo references.
My favorite part though is he's never seen supposedly Hajime no Ippo and just thought they were Dragon Ball references, not knowing the animators were referencing Hajime no Ippo.
But he has seen Megalobox, so he technically saw Tomorrow's Joe stuff. So he actually referenced.
So funny.
He referenced Tomorrow's Joe, which referenced Ippo, or the other way around, something like that. The point is Jaime's a nerd, okay? Jaime is a total anime nerd, so all this makes sense in character too.
I would say this because I would say the only thing, this is not the fault of the movie, but because I think it probably is a good thing they want to focus on Jaime's family, but I don't think Paco or Brenda are gonna be in this movie.
Yeah,
it's gonna be
Harvey Guillian's in this movie, but in an unknown role, and he's not in the trailer, so like I'm wondering if he's like, surprise, I'm Paco. I don't know. That's just a guess.
I think it's probably smart to focus particularly on the family because that'll be a lot of characters to focus on.
Yeah,
including.
It does seem like if it's following graduation day, because graduation day starts the first issue with Jaime graduating high school, and he's like, "Well, I'm not going to college," and his parents are like, "Cool, you're getting a job. Go off to the city called Palmyra City." Maybe this is connected. and then Brenda and Paco wouldn't be in it.
Because imagine what happened. Imagine they were probably It's probably I imagine upper ahead. The DC kind of want the series and the movie to have nice synergy to each other.
Oh, there's a ton of synergy between this and the current comic. It's pretty cool.
Because I imagine the movie got delayed. The movie was delayed, so the movie because the whole moving to theaters. But but I imagine the graduation day stuff was sort of almost like planned.
I think it was always supposed to be lined up because right now they have the graphic novel coming out 17 days before the movie, which is not an accident. Because this is the one movie ever since they gave it the August 18th, 2023 release date, it has not moved.
I was really worried that film would have been kind of would have got delayed again because they want to release Aquaman first because the first Aquaman movie did so well.
For some reason, this has gotten to keep its August. I think because this has to be a summer movie, it just has to work that way. I hope this does well because if it does well, we'll see more of it, and if it doesn't do well, then that's the end of that.
I'm not because there's definitely one. There's no. I think it's gotta be all self-contained to Earth. There's no Reach.
Yeah, no, this is definitely. I think just like let's get the origin going because they didn't even introduce the Reach right away in the original comic.
Yeah. That's
theater-wise. The only other major movie in August is Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem, which comes out 2 weeks prior. So, yeah, actually, I think this will probably be fine. I think those two movies can coexist equally. I don't think they'll sabotage each other. Danny Trejo was in Breaking Bad. Oh, that doesn't surprise me. It was filmed in New Mexico. He lives somewhere nearby.
All right, so that's the final scene
in Mexico. Yeah,
final scene
bound to be there
in the trailer.
Shield for sister. This. Okay, sorry, I got to George Lopez too quick. Here we go. So, y'all, I hope you like Dan Garrett and Ted Kord because they totally exist in this universe.
That is such... I was so shocked and surprised to see them put in Dan and Ted's costumes.
Ted's got the trunks, okay? Hashtag Ted's got the trunks.
Because, I'm so surprised because, you think they just guys just have...
Kord Industries, Victoria Kord, Beetle Bug, costumes. This is clearly in Kord Industries, like in the Beetle layer.
Because I'm always surprised they have Dan's costume. Ted at least, has
also in our Area 51 arcade machine.
It's just so cool then to fully Jaime, because that is part of Jaime's character. He's a legacy hero.
They kept the legacy. They're doing the Ant-Man theme. The Ant-Man thing of there is a legacy of this hero. You just don't have to start at the beginning of the legacy.
Mm-hmm. No, that's so great to see them just. I also kind of glad that they didn't try to keep this a secret. It's there it is right there.
Yep.
There's Ted and
that answers your questions right there. I'm glad it was a shot they kept in the trailer because that was something I was wondering about. As far as we know, Ted's not in the movie. There was a casting thing that leaked, but it was proven to be false. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of flashback to him.
We just don't know if he's dead or not. That's the thing. Yeah.
His sister's a little nuts. She probably has him locked up in the basement or something. I don't know.
Again, I since the Booster Gold series won't come out for a bit, I don't think.
Yeah.
Unless our fear mongering Chris Pratt Booster Gold.
Chris Pratt said, I might be willing to do it when someone asked him on an interview for Mario, and I was like, oh god.
I think it'll be too soon to tease the Booster Gold series, since again that's gonna be kind of far into
this movie was also done with no intention of a Booster Gold series existing.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm pretty sure essentially with the origin of the film, I don't think it was ever gonna be kind of connected to because it was maybe for the whole gun stuff.
Yeah, this was just. And I
doubt they really want to film a quick Booster Gold scene.
Yeah, because apparently this didn't get any reshoot. I don't think Warner Brothers could afford reshoots for this. They need to do it for Flash and Aquaman because those are bigger movies and all the connected universe BS. But this is its own thing.
Honestly, because I definitely could see it doing a lot better because it is telling a smaller movie. I feel
it has a lower budget, which means its margin for success is a lot smaller. it's less of a hurdle to cross. When you have a $200 million movie, it's really hard to get it to break even. But this thing was probably under 100 mil, so it'll probably be able to clear the success hurdle pretty good. I think.
No, because I think what with Shazam, because I mean, there's a bunch of reasons why Shazam failed, but I think honestly, I think part of the reason why I think it didn't resonate as much as the first movie is I feel like they went too big compared to the first movie. Because
I think it was all down to marketing. I think marketing completely failed it because I think the movie itself, like, I don't even see people talking about it because I just don't think a lot of people saw it. Shazam Fury of the Gods was great, much better than Black Adam, but like, I think the marketing on Shazam was just atrocious.
Yeah, no, because I think
also everybody is a better actor in that movie than Zachary Levi. I'm going to tell you.
Yep.
But back to Blue Beetle. There's also the shot where George Lopez calls Batman a fascist for some reason.
It really depends which Batman is going to be in this universe.
Yeah, that confused the crap out of me. I
was
just confused by that.
Yeah, like a little lost, right? Soundtrack album available on Water Tower Records confirms we're getting a soundtrack. Also, they're like, go read comics.
Yeah, I do love the trailer.
For the first time, they're recommending 2 out of 3 comics that are good.
I love 2 out of 3.
I hate Infinite Crisis, as many may know. I mean, I mentioned it in my comic video. I don't like Infinite Crisis, but it is his origin, you know.
He likes Heroes in Crisis more, guys.
I like how I made Linkara cry with Heroes in Crisis, but...
Exactly.
But yeah, no, it's I think because I think after the gun plan was revealed, a lot of people went to buy a lot of those comics he mentioned in that reveal video. So it's
but then we found out a bunch of it was scalpers too.
Yeah, so that's another sad thing. But like these maybe we should advertise the books that these movies are based on.
I like how the Flash trailer ends with, here's 3 of the worst Flash comics to ever exist. And then this is here is 2 really great Blue Beetle comics.
And one
Infinite.
One where he happens to be in it.
Yeah. Also, Muteki T, Dark Crisis was Crisis number 10.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, you gotta love that. I mean, you can tell why the Flash ones didn't work because they're all Barry, not Wally.
Yep. Andro says Zach Levi cranked up the cringe in Shazam 2. He's supposed to be more mature. Literally, like, Asher Angel's Billy Batson is like super mature and going through a lot of stuff, and then like Zachary Levi is over here playing a 9-year-old.
That's
really. It's like my one problem with the movie. They don't feel like the same person.
I think it's because the first film has that thing also, but it felt a little more natural there. Here, it really does feel like a distance from the two.
Yeah, it's because Billy's 3 years older, and he's just like turning 18 soon, and then suddenly Zachary Levi's still acting like an 8-year-old.
Especially compared to the other actors, where they feel like they match their kid actors much more.
I'll tell my Linkara story. I met Linkara at Power Morphicon 2018. And we were talking about stuff, and we were talking about DC, and Heroes in Crisis just started, and it was right after they like revealed that Wally West was the murderer, and like killed all the people in Sanctuary.
You're forgetting the one key part about the Heroes in Crisis thing.
What was that?
I was the one who was like, "So guys, Heroes in Crisis."
Oh yeah, Wheels brought it up.
I just like rolled.
And then Linkara's like, "I haven't been following it because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to review it sometime. What happened?" And I told him that like, apparently Wally West killed everybody and covered up the murder of everyone involved. And Linkara just like did this and started screaming, and then I'm pretty sure he started crying.
My favorite part is when he started.
And then years later, he had to review it.
my favorite part is when he started screaming and crying because his table was right next to MMPR Toys. They eerily just stopped and like looked and were horrified. What just happened? They were really.
They were really concerned about what we just told him.
Comic books are good and bad.
I think that was like one of the best things ever was when MMPR Toys was like heavily horrified of Linkara man crying.
No, but
I'll credit Linkara. He's like one of the reasons I got into comics. That's why I wanted to talk to him.
But you gotta love that like. In a Power Rangers convention, you're more interested in talking about DC than.
Well, of course, because like I didn't care about Heroes and History of the Power Rangers as much.
He was so happy that we were talking to him about non-Power Rangers stuff.
Yeah, he was stoked.
He was mad happy.
He was like, "Yeah, let's talk DC. Let's talk comics." That's the main thing.
Him how Remember, like when I told him that after he did Heroes in Crisis and did a lot of basic what fans joked about, because he got the jokes from Ranger Board and stuff. How like people would say you stole Linkara's jokes. And he's like, wait, I caused people to think I created those jokes.
Or
Yes.
he would say something in a video that was speculation, and people started taking it as fact, and he's like, "Oh no, that's bad." And that's why part of the reason why he says in his videos, like his more recent History of Power Rangers episodes, like I'm just speculating. Like he makes it very clear what is speculation and what is fact and stuff. Is I think because we talked to him about like how people in the fandom took his like words.
Took his word as fact.
Yeah. We because I even said to him, I vaguely knew of him for comics, but I knew him better for the Power Ranger stuff at first.
Mm-hmm.
Creature within the fandom.
And
he took that well, honestly.
Yeah, because I even said you look like a nice guy, you sound like a nice dude. But I said like you somehow it's like because like I said to him, it's not you, it's your knights, the knights.
That's the thing because you think with Linkara is like it's. I feel like a lot of, and this is not his fault, of course, but like I feel like a lot of the problems with the fandom currently is because of the old facts he got, the old data he got back in his older.
That's still a problem because Toy Galaxy just put out a video on the Turbo movie with a bunch of falsehoods in it that I don't think he did intentionally, but because the fandom has speculated these rumors around so much that they're presented as fact, even though they're not.
And the thing is, it wasn't Linkara when Linkara said this back in the day. He wasn't even trying to make it sound like fact. It's just what he heard during the time.
Yeah.
It just sadly, it just
people absorbed it and repeated it.
It kind of absorbed it and kind of like it's one of those things where it's like you ever see the old gag of like the telephone game of like. One person would say something in the next phone, and another person will repeat it, but wrongfully. It just keeps going.
Purple Monkey Dishwasher.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one last comment from the chat. If Soundout, do you think Blue Beetle will do for the new DCEU what Iron Man did for the MCU?
I'm gonna say that like Iron Man was a movie they made as like let's make an Iron Man movie. We got the rights. Let's try it. And then they threw in a Nick Fury scene, like, maybe we'll do something with this. And then they kind of built out from there, from the success of Iron Man. I think Blue Beetle could have done that if it was something like Flash, Green Lantern, like one of the main core DC people. I think it's just going to carve out its own little space. And maybe if it is successful, James Gunn will be like, all right, cool. Let's do a Teen Titans movie. And Blue Beetle's on the team. And he's like headlining it alongside like Robin, that kind of thing.
Definitely, because I won't like carve a new path, but I'll definitely give a lot more. It'll be because when Iron Man came, it'll be kind of like what Iron Man was. Because I think some people kind of do forget that when Iron Man 1 came out, it was popular, but it wasn't like it started this new big. No,
it was successful. It was popular, and it gave them something to work with.
Yeah,
and then DC tried to do the same with Man of Steel.
When you go back to you go look at videos when Iron Man 1 came out, especially when people reviewed the toys and stuff, it wasn't treated as like this is a star-studded big guys. No, it's like here's a cool new superhero movie I really like about a character I never heard of. So I really like the character now. That was what it was back in the day. I feel like the whole MCU the craze didn't start into Avengers because I think
because once Avengers came out, people got it. People figured out what they were doing at that point.
Thor
and Cap only happened because they were like, "Oh, we got something. Let's roll into the Avengers." Because it was just Iron Man. Hulk was made by Universal with completely no intention of being part of a cinematic universe. Once Iron Man came out, they shot that in-credits scene for Hulk. They couldn't get Edward Norton. That's why it's General Ross meeting Iron Man because they wanted to put something in there, and they're like, "Boom, let's do that." And then we got Thor, Iron Man 2 came next. Then we got Thor and Captain America as Avengers setups, basically. And then Avengers blew up, and that's where it came from.
Yeah, because when the Incredible Hulk came out, I don't think many people were talking about the fact that it was part of the same as Iron Man.
Nobody had any idea until the post-credit scene.
Yeah, I think most of the talk with that film was talking about how they sort of sequel to the
also, that movie bombed really bad. There wasn't much talk to begin with.
Yeah, the 10 and 3 film. So, like, it was more of I'm looking on who did the 10 and 3 film? Well, what?
It was still Universal.
Ang Lee. Yeah, I think when people were talking about more of is this a sequel to the Ang Lee Hulk or not, then it's a part of the same universe as Iron Man. It's really, I know it's one of those things where people as time goes on, I think people kind of forget how these films were when they first came out because it's hard to talk about. It's hard to imagine the world before the MCU kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
it shifted a lot of things. I remember a couple things in the chat. Shig said the funny thing they did Iron Man because they sold the rights to more popular characters. Yeah, because Marvel went bankrupt in the late '90s, and their only way that Stan Lee came up with the idea of how to save the company was to sell the film rights to characters, and nobody wanted Iron Man, nobody wanted the Avengers, but they were able to sell Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Blade, X-Men, Spider-Man, like all those. They were able to save the company by selling off all those rights, and then Disney's been collecting them back over time.
Yeah, remember back in the day, the Avengers were totally a B-list.
C-list. Yes. I would say C-list. The Avengers were...
Okay, like, Avengers are, like, the weirdest thing ever, right? Because you take all these great heroes in lore, right? But, like, at the time of just the inception of it, they weren't really big. For some reason, they just weren't big, right? So even though, like, in hindsight, you see Captain America and Iron Man as, like, you know, like, major players, right? But, like, at that time, a lot of people were clowning on them. So they were B, they were C, even though they had the ability to be more. And it wasn't until, like, the 80s, 90s, where, like, they really started actually putting effort to making them look credible again.
And the thing is, too, is that it was the Avengers Unite They Stand was the first Avengers cartoon in the 90s. And that was after, because they'd already exhausted all their other more popular characters, the Fantastic Four and X-Men and all that.
That show flopped more to Fox falling under.
Fox, it wasn't even Fox, it was Marvel bankrupting.
Oh, yeah.
Marvel bankrupting killed Silver Surfer, Avengers, They Stand, and Spider-Man Unlimited. Because Fox Kids was still going strong for a couple more years.
Yeah, right.
But adding to that, Shig says that post-credit scene doesn't make any sense when you think about it. Yeah, the whole post-credit scene doesn't make any sense. So much so that they actually had to write an entire short that was included, I think, on the Captain America Blu-ray about Coulson and Sitwell explaining why that scene happened with Tony Stark talking to General Ross. And it's like this whole long explanation of, like, it wasn't that Tony Stark was there to recruit the Hulk for the Avengers. Ross wanted Abomination on the Avengers, and they sent Tony to blow up the deal and make it not go through.
I think some people forget that, like, the MCU.
That's how haphazard the MCU used to be.
I think it's like. Yeah, it was pretty much a
but it was still a smart kind of scene, because I sort of got that in the first go.
Well, because the business reason is, put Tony Stark in there because people will recognize that. Right?
Yeah, because when I saw the scene, right, when it first came out, like, I just assumed that, like, Tony went there because, like, it was right after the, obviously the first one, where it seemed like he was going to accept the deal or just talk it through with Nick, because we don't know the fallout yet. We haven't seen 2. So it seems like, maybe Tony sees the bigger picture here, right? And so you go into Hulk, and, the whole movie is, I really love, like, pretty much Ross is like, I really love Abomination. I trust this man, even though he just blew up half of Harlem with the Hulk. And he's like, no, I still believe he can be redeemed. And Tony's like, yeah, no, we don't want him. We actually want the other guy. And they're like, you can't have him. He's volatile. He goes, I think we can control him.
Interesting. Shig says, couldn't they say it took place after Iron Man 2 and Tony's introduced to the Avengers Initiative? I think legally, let me check my notes. The order goes Iron Man 2, Thor, Incredible Hulk. So yeah, it would have been after he got introduced to the Initiative.
What's interesting, because with the whole Tony Stark and Hulk thing, because back in the day, because it was kind of cool to see Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark in Incredible Hulk, but like I don't think it was meant. Back in the day, you think about it, I don't think people thought it was gonna be something big, because remember, Hugh Jackman was originally gonna be cameo in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 1 originally.
Spider-Man was supposed to cameo in Hugh Jackman was supposed to cameo in the first Spider-Man movie. There's a deleted scene joke that they had someone in a Spider-Man costume on the X-Men set.
So I imagine back in the day when people saw the scene, I don't think they were probably thinking something bigger. I think it was like,
cool. I mean, like Michael Clark Duncan played Kingpin in the Daredevil movie, and then he played him on the MTV Spider-Man show. This is something.
And this is the rumor that I heard, was that because at the time when they tried to do the MTV show, originally it was supposed to be like in between.
It was supposed to be a sequel to Spider-Man before Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, it was supposed to be it's supposed to be like an interlude kind of thing, but then Spider-Man 2 went to its own direction and the show got canceled. From what I remember hearing from dirt sheets back in the day was that Michael Clark Duncan was supposed to reprise his role in the Spider-Man movies as well, but they just never stuff. I guess.
Yeah,
fell
it
through
was
the
too much cross for typing in the